greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting intrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
As they did there, and they
Dave?
can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
Okay,
we
hold
know
on.
they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I
numbers for an
continue
afternoon
this
show.
before you cut me off? We know
go ahead.
one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because
I'm
it went
not-
on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God! It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of hashtag DMDMW, Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. I am your host, Phil Marks.
God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
And make sure you guys hit like and subscribe or 5 stars if you're listening to this in audio form. Make sure you guys, super chats are welcome if you guys want to support the show. Also, make sure you check out patreon.com/pro wrestle times. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, actually here, make sure you guys check out patreon.com/pro wrestle times. Okay. We got a collections here, tons of content. Make sure you check that out. But without further ado, it is time for everybody's favorite segment in the IWC. So nice that we do it twice because we kind of make fun of Dave on Pro Wrestle Times live show every Wednesday and Saturday. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite segment / podcast, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. And we're going to bake them today. We got quite a bit to get to, so we're going to get right into things. I can't wait for it. Who's ready? Flutes in the chat. Ladies and germs, we start things off this week with a little bit of Dave Meltzer star ratings, okay? And I like to start the show with those because they're always funny and you can kind of gloss over them, but they should be noted for some of them. So Dave Meltzer star ratings for Full Gear 2025. Joe versus Hangman, 3.5 stars. Why? Because it was an actual match. Statlander, Mercedes Moné, 4.25 stars. $1 Million Trios match, 4.5 stars. Briscoe Fletcher, 5 stars. See, Fletcher's his new 5-star merchant. It's like the guy that he thinks has potential, and so he's gonna take credit. Like, well, I was giving him 5 stars. Kyle O'Reilly, Moxley, 4.75. The Casino Gauntlet, 4 stars. FTR Bro Dito, 5 stars. Women's 4-way tag, 3 stars. Pac Darby, 4 stars. And it's like, and then Drainmaker writes it. 2 matches rated 5 stars, 7 matches with 4 stars or above. So it was the greatest wrestling card of all time in the history of pro wrestling.
It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
But none of us remember it that way. Yeah, I mean, so moving along here, we're going to rip through some of these. On Thanksgiving, between falsely copyright striking my channel, allegedly, right? That's all allegedly. As friend of the show, but yeah, so back in September of 24, Meltzer said we are getting closer to the big F4W divorce of 25. Alvarez was forced to once again take on the Beast Meltzer over different DVR systems, according to the overrun for AEW WWE. So this is a little flashback here. You guys already know. This is one of the most famous arguments in IWC history.
You were at SmackDown on Friday. You know that SmackDown actually went over and everything?
Yeah.
So what does it mean? What's the point?
The point is SmackDown.
What are you getting
Well, the
at
point.
here?
What are you getting at here, buddy?
DVR didn't pick it up.
Did they not pick it up?
Mine didn't.
Mine
except
didn't.
I recorded the next show. It went off.
I
it went
recorded
off
the next
right
show,
before
though,
Cody
so
got
mine
in the ring.
didn't go
Roman was
off.
Talking, and then it went off the air. I don't know.
Hey, oh, am I on loop there? Yeah, I recorded the next show, so mine didn't. But I recorded the next show. Dave is so funny. He's so funny with his coke.
This is the case. I don't know if this is the case, but
I don't know.
somebody tweeted me, but I've only had one person tweet me this, who said that they watched it, the TNT Sports, which is
He's coping,
the UK
dude.
version, that it went off the air in the middle of the show. I mean, not, in the middle of that interview segment too. But I got tweets from a lot of people who were watching on DVR and didn't record.
So you guys remember this, right? Like they got in this big fight. We'll play the end here. I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit because this is a throwback.
No,
I watched the show tonight. It cut off.
Guess what?
I cut off.
It will be when it is up. They put it up later.
Well, I know that, but how does that help me when I'm doing
Well,
the show with you tonight?
I don't know. Well,
It doesn't help me.
Okay, so complain, but
I will complain.
Okay, but the fact
Put me out of my misery. No, that's PWG.
this is that my system. If I had not recorded,
Here's the thing, right? They've been arguing about this for years. This DVR, YouTube TV. These chuckle fucks don't even know how to use YouTube.
I didn't do it this week.
They didn't do it this week, but I will bet.
So there you go. Here's back in 23. So that was in 24. Here's in 23. Them arguing about this shit.
Well, perhaps
That's
they could
it.
but they don't know ahead of time. That's the difference. NXT knows
Just
ahead of time.
About the overruns. We've chronicled all this over the last couple of
Zoom,
years.
you're
NXT.
going 10 minutes over.
Okay, I'm just telling you that you have to review this as a sport, as a live sports event, and a live sports event. Whenever you're recording a live sports event, you have.
Here's the thing, man. On Crave, they featured AEW like as a sport, but I don't. Here, we could break it all down. Again, I don't like making the excuses. Like, I don't want to fucking be like, well, it's not really a sport, but you could break it down. Like, we watch sports everywhere else, the sports we care about everywhere else. The only reason, like, the pro wrestling fans in Canada would get Max, or you would promote wrestling to them. Like, that makes sense as like a sport, because our live sports, you can buy our pay-per-views through this thing or whatever. Like, I understand it from that aspect, because nobody in Canada there, buddy, is getting Crave to watch like hockey or whatever. None of that shit's on there, at least not to my knowledge, right? Like, no one's getting it to watch CFL or like NFL or anything like that, right? We get it through other ways. So yeah, it's odd that Dave, like, over the years and since 21, I guess HBO was like, AEW's not a sport or whatever the fuck, and Dave's been running with they are, and then he flip-flops and says they're not when it's convenient for him. But here he's like, well, you got to look at it as a sport, Brian. And it's like, right? Do we really need to? Is that right? I don't know.
I can't make it record more time. It doesn't allow me to do that.
Record the next show. I can't either.
I don't know what the next show is. It's a random movie every week.
It's not that hard to find out. Go to the website and look at the schedule. They will, just like I do, they will tell you the movie.
Look at the schedule, Brian, just like I do. Bro, that's too many steps. That's too much stuff to do just to watch this fucking show. It's 2023 at this time.
Not that hard, and I go and record that movie. If I forget to do this, it's my fault. It's not their fault, because I know the score. Because it's the same thing. Like, again, when I watch,
just sweeping so hard, so passionate. Just no, it's not my fault, Brian. It's their fault. It's your fault if you're too dumb to record this show.
UFC or Bellator, and if the main event, if
it's your fault, Brian, as the viewer, that they can't end on time.
If I miss the end of the main event because I forgot to record the next show, that is on me. That is not on them. Because
that is on me, Brian.
In the NBA, if it cuts me off with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter of a close game, that's my fault. That's not their fault. And this is the same. You can say, "Oh, it's scripted," Dave, and you're right. You're right.
You could say, "Oh, it's scripted," and you're right, Brian. But look at it as a shoot. That's the problem. We've dissected this. I did it all the way back then. But Dave, like, in these motherfuckers' minds, Sicko Vecna's mind, dude, it's like AEW's a shoot. WWE and all that other foo-foo lame wrestling stuff. Oh, that's all sports entertainment. AEW's a shoot. And we fucking a million stars to the moves and shit and the physicality. Go watch MMA. It's not a shoot, guys. You know what I mean? Like, we all understand this. That's the whole part of the agreement. And that's why you have a bunch of guys like doing this phony, cheesy, hardcore shit. And then you have Dave be, oh, well, treat it like it's a real sport. It's not, though, dude. It's a scripted thing. We all know. Why would we treat it differently than pro wrestling, than the way pro wrestling's been treated since, I don't know, the 80s? Like, when the fuck did people, I mean, the 90s or whatever, when did people stop, like, believing? Yeah.
Don't just add a 10-minute.
Whatever. This is an old clip. We went over all this. I'm not going to re-rant old rants. You can go back. The whole playlist is available. Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week playlist. But fast forward, whip. It's Thanksgiving. And instead of sharing holiday cheer and the Christmas spirit, these two motherfuckers are arguing over this same thing they've been arguing about for 3 years now. 23 to 26. It's almost 26 now. They've been arguing over fucking YouTube TV and the overrun and what gets recorded and how AEW doesn't fucking. So, like, and I get it. They're arguing over it. But Brian is like calling shit out. Dave is just in full-blown denial. Can't admit this whole time that this could possibly be an issue. Or they're just too dumb to know what the fuck they're doing. And this can't even be levied as a criticism against Tony Khan, the best guy, Brian, in Dave's mind. And it's why is that turned down? Meanwhile, they've been fucking arguing over it for 3 years.
The best guy is
like,
Tony Khan.
At what point do you attribute some of this to, like, yeah, maybe this is what's fucking them up in the ratings and stuff too, you know? So let's listen to this here. And this from Meltzer said what?
All these years, they still haven't fixed this YouTube TV overrun thing. The show ended at 2:01, right in the middle of this match.
And Meltzer said what? The GOAT says, Tony Khan, you have ruined Dynamite, Dave and Brian Alvarez's Thanksgiving, by not getting the YouTube TV overrun issues fixed. You have called, and it's still not fixed after years. The divorce papers are being filed.
The replay was not up yet, so if I hadn't had Max, once again, and this happens every week, by the way. So,
well, that's YouTube TV's fault.
2025, the end of the year, almost 3 years now. That's YouTube TV's fault, Brian. Dude, why doesn't Tony Khan know his streaming numbers? Why doesn't Tony Khan know? Do I have a what in this motherfucker? Why doesn't he know his streaming numbers? Why doesn't he know? Or why can't he like call them and figure this out and configure it? Like, look, just give us an extra 30 minutes. Like, record. If people record over, we need like 30 more minutes because of this overrun or whatever. Just hey, YouTube, can we work out a thing where this redirects to our channel where we will air the last 30 minutes? Like, think of something. How has Tony not figured this out? It's just on YouTube. Nothing you can do, Bri.
AEW should tell them, add a 10-minute overrun to every show, just like NXT used to do. There's never a problem with NXT. Never. It's only AEW. Well, so it's not just YouTube TV.
It's YouTube TV's problem. They should be.
So Brian just goes, yo, it's not like just there. It's not just YouTube TV. And then Dave goes, well, I mean, it's YouTube TV's problem. They should really fix this. Dave, you're a fucking clown shoes.
Figured this out.
Well,
I feel as though you are clown jewels.
Say that, Dave, but it's also a problem for the people who are trying
clown jewels on shoes.
Watch AEW.
I have a fever, guys. It's been a long day.
They don't see the end because they don't have Max.
I think I'm coming down with something over here now.
So yeah. I think that AEW should have a discussion with YouTube TV and just say, have the show be 10 minutes longer.
I would presume that they have and have not gotten anything changed. I mean, you would think
I would assume they did and nothing got changed. Okay, well, that's shitty then.
Thanks.
But it's YouTube's fault, though. It's not theirs.
So,
You
but
would think
this
after
happened every week on NXT. There was always the overrun built in. It's never like that for Dynamite.
Well, that's I can't tell you what the problem is when it's every week. They should have figured it out by now.
They should have.
Oh, there you go, Dave. There you go. There you go, Dave.
Yeah.
So then
That's YouTube TV not figuring it out. I mean,
it's both of them, Dave.
Oh, wait, he meant so he was just saying YouTube should have figured it out. Never mind.
if it was
Look it up, Dave.
how is it both of them? We already know
Because
how long the
Tony
show
needs
is.
to call YouTube TV and say, "You did this for NXT.
Tony doesn't call.
You
That's
did
not-
this for
that-
NXT."
Tony doesn't call. Oh my God.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Oh, he's too good to call.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Tony doesn't call. Tony only calls me, Brian. Tony doesn't call anyone. Why would Tony call people, Bri? Tony doesn't call. You better call him. If you don't call him, Brian. Oh my God. I can't believe that. And that's what it is with the wrestlers there, or the superstars there. That's what it is. That's what it is in AEW. Like, you can't talk. It's Tony McCann. It's like Vince. You got to wait outside his office or whatever till 3 a.m. till he comes and talks to you. Right? We have video evidence that Tony Khan does call. He calls Dave Meltzer is who he fucking calls. Okay. Dave doesn't. Dave, I don't call. Tony calls me. I'm his daddy, though. Dave calls no one. Tony only calls me, and Tony calls no one either, Brian. Like, what is this weird hierarchy? Tony doesn't call. Why? It's for the benefit of his business. It's to make his business run better for the fans. He doesn't think about the fans. I know people want to cope and go, well, the $30 tickets. No, that's because that's all they can charge for those fucking things. Okay? And that's not bad. I'm glad. Yeah, the $30 show, I'm all for it. But that's what, like, indies charge. There's indies that charge more than that for tickets. Okay? So, that's just what he can charge. If he could charge $1 billion and get Saudi money, he fucking would. You know what I mean? But he can't do that. So, to say, like, he won't pick up the phone and call YouTube TV... Like, how hard do you got to sweep for this guy? Dave learned sweeping from fucking Kenny Omega, the cleaner. Holy.
NXT.
That's not Tony's job. That's the job of the station.
That's not Tony's job. That's the job of the station. Here's the problem. No, it isn't. Because in this situation, in this landscape, the way things have changed, Tony's not the A side. YouTube TV doesn't give a fuck if AEW's on there or not. If AEW goes tomorrow, I'm sure they don't care. They don't give a fuck. There's billions of hours of content and shows and shit being made. So Tony Khan, if he really cares about the fans, and if he can tweet people and tweet sickos and poach TNA fans and tweet people about, oh yeah, we're switching Mina's music back right now, and make these videos from the Super Yacht Kismet, he can fucking pick up the phone and go, YouTube TV, why is our show getting cut off? Let's say even back in the day, in Meltzer's olden fucking age, right? Let's go back in time, right? Where's my flashback sound here, okay? We need to go back and travel back in time. Imagine, like, there's a fucking station or a network. It's so funny because Bischoff pwned Dave for, like, calling things stations and whatnot, whatever. We're going to get into that. But imagine, like, there's a station, a network, whatever the fuck, or even a streamer, right? And then your show's getting cut off, and then they don't fix it. And even, let's say you gave it the benefit of the doubt. And let's say Tone was just laying in the cut, like, okay, I'll give them 3 years to see if they'll figure out, like, at what point would, even back in the day, would you not pick up the phone with the fucking, guy who owns the company or the producers of the show or whoever the fuck funded the sitcom or whatever, just anything. It doesn't even have to be wrestling. They wouldn't pick up the phone and call YouTube and be like, hey guys, You're fucking cutting off our show. You know what I mean? So Dave it's just massive cope, and they've been having the same argument for 3 years, and Dave won't relent. He just won't relent.
Tony's doesn't call up and go, do this.
Oh, we need that for the soundboard. Tony doesn't call up Brian and say, do this. Oh my God. And then meanwhile, incoming call. Tony Khan. Right? Where's that clip? Do I have to pull that fucking clip up? Tony Khan calls Dave Meltzer. There's got to be a clip of that shit. Of Tony Khan calling Dave Meltzer. I should just have the clip on deck because it's just an infamous one, you know? I might have it archived or something, but just Dave Meltzer getting phone calls from Tony Khan live on the air. Or maybe he wasn't live, but they were certainly recording an episode. And he's on the air getting calls, incoming Tony Khan. And Dave's like, oh, you know, Tony doesn't pick up the phone. Why would Tony Khan ever pick up the phone? Like, bro, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, I can't find it. It's just, they scrubbed it for sure. They scrubbed it for sure. I gotta strike. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't even matter. I'm
Tony's doesn't call up and go, do this. That is the station. The station figures this stuff out.
He can't call TNT.
Well,
he can call you, Dave. He can call Wrestling Observer. He can't call TNT or YouTube TV or
Hey, you realize our show's cut off every single week? Can we remedy that?
You don't think that they have not called?
Honestly, no. Because it's now been 2 years.
And Dave's like, you think they haven't called? Tony doesn't just call. And then Brian's like, well, he should call and do this. Then Dave goes, just flip-flops immediately. That's why I put it in the title. There's so much of that tonight. You think they haven't called? And then Brian's like, I don't think they have. And then Dave is about to say, like, I can tell you for sure they have, or something along those lines. Why? Because Tony called him. Dave knows Tony calls.
I am certain that they would have called.
I am certain that they would have called. Not revealing things that he knows about Tony Khan. If that was Trips, he'd go, yeah, I was on the call. It was a 3-way call, Brian. I was in the room.
And they would have told
Listen, next time Tony is doing an interview with you, I want to be on the show. I will ask him this question.
Why isn't Brian on the shows when Tony's on?
He's called. Of course he hasn't called. That's not his job.
And then Dave just fucking switches gears. Of course that's not his job. The best guy.
He's called. Of course he hasn't called. That's not his job.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
It's the station's job number.
So Brian can't come on and ask him why he hasn't called. And then Dave, why won't you? Like, even Brian saying, dude, and like, shout out trying Brian a little bit. But even Brian's like, dude, I will ask him next time you interview him. Well, why? And it's because Brian will be critical as shit. And that's why Tony Khan is fucking keeps him at bay and keeps him out of the little circle, right? Now Brian knows his agenda, but Dave and Tone are little best friends, man. He runs booking ideas and shit by Dave. I guarantee it, allegedly. This is South Park. I'm making shit up here.
Allegedly.
Hit the like button. So, yeah, he's just sweeping for Tony here. Just insane meltdown over fucking defending and getting mad over this YouTube TV shit, and then melting down when Brian's like, and just completely switching back to what you were talking about, like just completely not even addressing what Brian said about, I'll come on and ask him these questions. And Dave's just like, what? You would ask him this question? And it's like, well, why won't you ask him the question? I thought you're a fucking journalist. Meanwhile, you have poor Brian. We covered it on last week's show. Coping and making excuses for fucking Dave. And saying, oh, yeah, you know, Dave, like, why wouldn't Tony call Dave up?
Brian.
You know, Tony actually talks to journalists. Like, he was defending fucking Dave for Tony calling him. And now Dave is just having a meltdown hissy fit on fucking Bri, defending Tony, and just completely skirts the question and is like, yeah, you're not going to come on. And how dare you suggest that I do journalism. Wow, Dave.
He hasn't called. That's not his job. His job is it's the station's job, number one.
Can he call the station? I'll ask him that question.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Somebody should be calling somebody because WWE got this handled the first week. I know if they got it handled, Tony can get it handled. So let's get it done.
Yeah, well, it should be.
Well, it should be. You know what it should be is
the people who watch the show.
No, we can't add.
Oh, the people who watch the show, yeah, they're dwindling.
That.
No, you should be able to call up and go, we don't get it, and they should go, okay, we got to fix it.
Well,
so it's up to the people to call and make their voices heard, which I do kind of agree with social media. But like Dave thinks that in 2025, it's like back in the fucking in 1987 when you'd like write a letter to CNN or whatever when you thought they were fucking up, or when they played something aired something where you were like, that's egregious, or like a sitcom went too far or something like that. You know, people would write letters and call the station. Like, it just doesn't work that way, man. And it just seems like incompetence when you factor in everything else. So like, Dave, isolated, yeah, this isn't that big of a deal, and that's why it's funny you're spurging. But if you look at also, Tony doesn't know the streaming numbers. He doesn't have any say. He can't get on the phone with anyone to stop the show getting cut off. They don't know what's happening with Collision. They have nothing solid. They don't know where their placement is when Warner Bros. Splits into two companies and it looks like Netflix is trying to buy them out with cash. He doesn't know shit about anything. He doesn't know the streaming numbers, but we've had great growth and we're closing gaps and shit. It's like when you factor all that in, the fights backstage, the walkouts, the fucking drama, the people who've had to leave, like almost everyone who's left, it's like there's a stink on it from that Mega girl, that lawyer Mega, what was her name? Mega or whatever. I forget. Megan, whatever. And she left, and there's like stink on her all the way up to wrestlers like CM Punk. He leaves and there's stink on him. And even Rhodes, who helped created the company, he leaves and there's stink there. And people are talking about Anna Jay should go to NXT, and I like that idea, but it's like, well, what happens when she's at a show? Punk's at NXT's, she brings Jack Perry there, they get in a fucking grappling match, and a table gets bumped, and Shawn Michaels goes on TV and says he feared for his life, or what? Like, these are the things that when you add up Tony Khan's bullshit, like what he chooses to focus on and what he chooses to like skirt or like not take accountability for, it's like, yeah, this is on him, right? Like, the fans, I think, are making it clear it's just that a fucking podcaster saying something about it. If the fans were like, Tone, you got to stop it from, but not enough people are watching it either. So what Dave's saying is like, the people should write to YouTube TV, Brian. He's kind of right, but it's like not enough people watch it. That's the proof right there. There's no stink. And so Dave is, his job's to shill for AEW, so he's not going to let Brian say the shit. And then with Tone, he's not going to listen to this because it's just a guy on a podcast saying you can't talk shit about Tone. That's why Bry's not allowed there when fucking Tone and Dave do interviews, right? That's why Tone went back on Ariel's podcast after all this time, because why? He even said it on the show, because Ariel started saying some nice things about him. And Ariel let that slide. I would have called, that's the one thing I would have called out if I was Ariel. Like, so what? I have to say nice things about you constantly for you to come on my show? Like, I can't be critical of anything? Is that what you're saying? But obviously he's not going to make it awkward or whatever.
Let's get a call-in campaign. How about an email campaign? I'll do
Mega Perek. Yeah, see, I just butchered the name. Thank you for putting that in chat. I know I butchered it.
do a writing campaign.
Should have done that.
I'll put a stamp on an envelope.
Yeah.
So I was going to call her Mega Khan, and I'm like, that's like when Tony and his dad do the fusion dance or something. That's not right. Mega Khan, she's not related to them. She was like their lawyer or something, right?
Max, so I'm not worried about it anymore, but I'm thinking about the other people.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell you. Every other system in the world gets it right except for one.
Well, the one just happens to be the largest streaming provider.
Exactly, and that's the problem. And Dave refuses to acknowledge this. So what Brian's saying to Dave right now is what I say on my show all the time. It's what Switchblade 97 tweets out all the time. YouTube is the number one. It's the largest streamer. So it does not definitively mean that it doesn't definitively mean that, like, okay, most people are watching on YouTube AEW shit, but it's a good indicator of like what's trending, how strong is it trending in comparison to other shit. You can cross-reference it with the Google Analytics or the Google Trends, which all match up. Switchblade does that. We look at it on the show on PWT live shows Wednesdays and Saturdays, and it always aligns, right, with what's trending on Google and what's going down on YouTube. And I know YouTube's like a Google company, but you guys get what I'm saying. So the pay-per-view buys, Dave doesn't want to address that. He will for MMA because he has no dog in that fight, but he doesn't want to address that with AEW because he knows that looking at the YouTube trends, which is the biggest streamer, which you have to acknowledge that. And when you look at that for AEW, all of his lies about these pay-per-view, he literally said for the last 3 pay-per-views that they've done the best since All In. I swear the last 3, he's like the best since All In, the best since All In. Strong pay-per-view numbers, Brian. But it's like, no, man, we can look at people's interest on YouTube, the largest streamer. How many people are in their chat? When there's 9K in their chat for All In, and then there's 1.4K or whatever the fuck for this last pay-per-view in their chat. I promise you they didn't do that good of pay-per-view buys, you know? Like, what's the interest there? Like, why would people buy it? Why would they do about 100,000 buy? There's about 100,000 people that are just die-hard AEW, will watch, buy every single fucking thing. I'll accept that. Okay, 100,000 to 150,000, but not 150,000 pay-per-view buys. That's because even Dave doesn't say it's doing 150,000 pay-per-view buys. Even he won't cop to that. He'll be like around 130,000. So, and that's where the mythical 30% came from with Amazon. So Brian's like, yo, the number one streamer, like the number one streamer that people consume shit on, that AEW's available on, this show gets cut off. And Dave, that just broke his brain. You can tell because he didn't have like an interruption response. Right?
I know what to tell you. Every other system in the world gets it right except for one.
Well, the one just happens to be the largest streaming provider of television in the entire country. They have the most subscribers of any of these streaming stations. So this would be an important one to make sure it has an overrun.
Yeah, well, but everybody else.
but I mean, everybody else understands. Yeah, we get it. But you get that everybody else is becoming less and less people every year, bro. Everybody else is fine. Fuck those people on YouTube, even though there's probably a huge, significant amount of people like there's maybe like for AEW, comparable to AEW. Not, again, when I say huge, significant, it's like for AEW, every view counts, as we know. As we know, Dave and Tone and all these guys will scrape the bottom of the barrel to try and fucking count views and shit. PlayStation Vista. So for AEW, there's probably a good chunk of people watching the show. But then this is the problem. They don't care. They just switch over. They just wait until it's uploaded to AEW's YouTube. And then they go and watch it. So you can look at the YouTube numbers. And I would say like give any YouTube video they upload that's like, this is what happened in the overrun. Give it like a week and then cut that number in half. And I bet that's like the amount of people, maybe even less than that. I'm actually kind of talking out of my ass. I'd have to go look. I actually haven't like looked at the last, like how many overruns were uploaded and what numbers do they average. So it's been a while. It's been a while since we've looked at the YouTube numbers, right? There was a bit of a deep dive with the Moxley stuff when this guy put together this whole thread that we debunked using like YouTube numbers and shit. So that was like a year ago or so. So I don't want to talk on my ass, but I'm just saying that a lot of people, I'm sure, just go, fuck it, I'll watch it on YouTube. They'll just upload it to their YouTube in like an hour. And that's how a lot of people consume WWE as well. A lot of people thought like, hey, when we had Netflix WWE to India, we're gonna get like millions more viewing, but like, no, dude, they're just gonna watch it on YouTube. Like, people just watch on fucking YouTube. They stream this shit, but that's why this is so important. And Brian's actually on point coming at Dave with this here. Like, he's really trying to drive this home because it is important. It's important for AEW, man. And I've said this too for the longest time. YouTube should be AEW's play. They should have just stuck with Dynamite, not added any other shows. Rampage should have been like a fucking, here's a recap show, an hour-long show of like 3 of the best matches hosted by Tony Schiavone from like our guys working indies or like working AEW indie or house shows, like non-televised. We're doing these shows, running it like indies. That's what I thought they were going to do, man. And we're going to have our guys fucking wrestling like it's the indies and shit and really growing this fan base. And we're going to film like, here's, 3 featured matches. Welcome to Friday Night Rampage, whatever. I'm Tony Schiavone. And then they have a YouTube presence, like Dark and Dark Elevation, that AEW Dark show. They should have just kept it. And that show, it was perfect as far as like being, it became just like, here's only developmental people or like young guys who can't be on Dynamite yet. But at the same time, they were able to do that where it's like, okay, on this episode of Dark, here's some matches from Jericho's Boat. Here's a Dark match we filmed at Dynamite. Here's like that. I think that's the route they should have fucking went, in my opinion. And then you could have like really, I think, blown that up, because that would have been the true alternative. You guys know what I mean? Like, instead, Tony wants to go this like, we're a weekly TV show, TV rating challenger brand. Let's do white ropes and LED board fucking back. It's like, okay, you want to do the sports entertainment TV game? Like, you want to, then okay, then you got to play that game, and like, you're going to get smoked. You guys sit there and go, we're not even real. We're real wrestling, bruv. We're not even sports entertainment and all this shit. Like, well, too bad you're now sports entertainment. You had that opportunity to be that alternative. And then Dynamite is like your sports entertainment weekly show with your big stars. And then you go and like infest the indies and go around the world and work with Japan and do tours in Japan, AEW, and then you have like a weekly show. That was always my vision of like how AEW would have worked. You had to lean into the fact you're like a super indie, and they got away from that. And so the point I'm getting at, to bring a full circle here, YouTube's so important. That's always been the play for AEW in my book. They should have always tried to make their YouTube presence as big as possible.
Every other streaming Sling gets it. All my cables, all the cable gets it. Everybody gets it.
Everyone gets it, Brian.
The problem is YouTube TV.
The problem is everybody. Now listen, I bring this up because
it's only one thing. It's like saying it's like last month with the on the pay-per-view.
Oh my God, on the pay-per-view, man.
Paramount Plus, if you remember, they cut the pay-per-view off. I think it was the last show, not this last one, but the one before. They cut it off because they had a screw up. It was fine everywhere in the world. You can't say it's AEW's fault. No, it's Paramount.
Oh my God, Dave. Oh my God, man. I didn't think we'd spend so much time on these clips. Dave, that Paramount thing's an isolated incident. What Brian's talking about, and I can't believe I'm defending Brian Alvarez, but what Brian's talking about is a 3-year ongoing issue that you guys have been arguing about for 3 fucking years.
Paramount's fault. Well, actually, it was not even their fault because it was
it's not their fault either. Actually, I can't offend them because, they might buy the company that I own. I mean, I don't own.
Like, screwed everything up in the whole world that week, and Paramount was one of the people that got screwed up. But the point is that like when everyone gets it right and only one gets it wrong, it's the one who gets it wrong. If everyone got it wrong, then we'd have.
But if they, oh my God, whatever, we can't. Problem. It's like, okay, but it's been 3 years, so Tony isn't calling them and going, "You're fucking this up. We're gonna take our shit off YouTube TV." No, because they can't afford to do that. Why? Because YouTube's the fucking A side. Tony doesn't pick up the phone. Tony's not the A side. Doesn't matter that he's a billionaire. All these fucking people, man, this is the problem too. You have all these sickos and Dave Meltzers and all these John Albas and these fucking sickos, okay? And they're always like, oh, capitalism, corporate, whatever. Meanwhile, you got Tony Khan getting crowds to chant pay-per-view, pay-per-view, to do pay-per-view chants at him. Literally. And you have Dave Meltzer and these guys who sweep for Tony because he's a billionaire. And they sit there and go, well, he has all the money. Oh, I mean, he actually made $4 million this year, so he's not a money he has all the money. Tony doesn't pick up the phone. He's too big a deal. He's a billionaire. He's on the super yacht Kismet, Brian. Why should we care about that? He claims he cares about the fans and he wants to do what's best for wrestling, and everyone says he really cares about wrestlers. Yes, he really gives them a lot of money and really enjoys wrestlers. Okay, but like where's the house shows? Where's the fucking opportunity? Think about your wrestling on this show. And because he's paying you well, you busted your ass, you're in this main event. He books you in an overrun. And then you don't get seen, or your finish doesn't get seen because he won't pick up the phone and call YouTube TV or whatever. Like, imagine that. Is that good for the boy? I don't know, man. Oh, it's all good. They're getting paid lots and work less dates. Okay. So you're cheering, yay, capitalism, on this side, but then when people are cheering because they're a part of a historical attendance and live gate, which they do in other sports, by the way, all of a sudden that's like a bad thing, and boo capitalism. I'm just getting sick and tired of it.
But Dave, listen, if we did this show at 12:30 every Wednesday, which we do, and at 1:30 every week your internet cut out, and we just sat here and blamed the internet company. It's not just the internet. We need to call the company and say, hey, it's cutting out at 1:30 every Wednesday. I need the internet on. Can we fix this problem? There is a responsibility for us and also for Tony and TNT and TBS.
Facts.
Yes, and all of them to get together and figure this out.
And guess what? When it comes to something like that, we wouldn't have the power, and they'd cut it off anyway.
Well, we would have to at least try.
Well, you think
and then he just black pills, and then Dave just black pills his audience. Oh, well, even if we did, it wouldn't matter anyway. It's all, the earth is doomed, Bri. It doesn't matter. What is life?
If you think no one's tried from TBS in
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just constantly like making excuses. You guys have been arguing about it for 3 years. You think no one's tried? Well, then make a bigger stink about it. Sauce Inc. for 2 says, I emailed you the Stranger Things cameo clip. Okay, I'll get it on the Sicko Saturday show. Okay, Mike Sauce, thank you so much. And thanks for sending the clip. Guys, you can super chat in. You can become a member. Most importantly, though, check out patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. Okay, there's a bunch of content on there. I'm shilling the page hard. Okay. So yeah, make sure you guys go and check that out. There's a lot of bonus content. I'm adding more, and like all the archives are there. So yeah, make sure you tap into those. So Dave Meltzer and Bri. Well, here, let's read some attention deficit Dave Meltzer. So, Dave gets mad and he calls everybody podcast grifters and talks about how Eric Bischoff and these guys need to get new material. And Alfred Konuwa, this is nasty, pro wrestling bits. He's been so kind to like highlight and look up a bunch of instances where Meltzer's just like said the same thing over and over and over again. So he keeps bringing up Frank DeFord. Frank DeFord, in one of his books, said that in real life, Dangerfield was the second most miserable person he had ever met. And it's funny because we cover it here. Like Dave just projects constantly. And Dave calls people old podcast grifters. Meanwhile, that's what he is. And then he will do things like, you need to get new material. Meanwhile, we just went over, he's been having the same 3-year argument sweeping with the same talking points for AEW, and has just been calling people podcast bad faith grifters who don't study and learn for the last fucking 3 years and stuff like this. So anyways, he just keeps bringing up Frank DeFord or Eric Bischoff. Who do you think has a clue about reporting more, arguably the most respected sports writer of the last 60 years, or a guy who purports to get business whose main claim to fame is bankruptcy and ruining businesses. Dave Meltzer says Eric Bischoff's main claim to fame is bankruptcy and ruining businesses. Meanwhile, Dave Meltzer is doing 50% off fire sales the last how many, like, for 1 year straight, it's been 50% off the fucking Observer, dude. And it's pretty funny. That's not and Dave's main claim to fame in internet lore will be becoming a fucking lol cow and a meme, right? And like making up lies and shit. So I think that's way worse than Bischoff. I think his main claim to fame was 83 weeks. You know what's funny too is like he beat WWE more than 83. It's just the 83 was consecutive. So when people are like 83 weeks, it's like, well, it was more than that as well. And he put WWE on their back foot. That's something no one else was ever able to do. And no one else will be able to do again. Right? And that's what Tony needs to be a little bit more, is on his back foot and challenged and really pushed to like put on a good show. But as we've seen, everybody just sweeps for him. So it's never going to happen. Frank DeFord told Brian Pillman when Frank DeFord. So he brings up Frank DeFord. I'm not going to read all these, but Frank DeFord, he brings up a billion times. And then someone made a fucking AI video. It might've been Alfred. Yeah. So Frank DeFord finally addresses Dave Meltzer. So shout out AI for...
Hi, I'm Frank DeFord. I wanted to come on Beyonce's internet and confirm that I do not know Dave Meltzer. I met him one time at a girls' volleyball tournament. He was removed by security for 5-star stalking. That's it. Frank out.
Dude, AI is... For little shits like that, it's funny. But it kind of isn't funny, like how... I don't know, man. This whole world, like all this technology we use, dude, how they achieve... batteries and shit's fucked up, man. So whatever, that aside, the energy burning, wasting shit aside, I mean, little AI clips like that have popped me. I didn't think I'd enjoy it. I thought I'd be like more grossed out by it, but I definitely, if people are dropping like AI movies and shit, I'm not into it. But for little memes or like using AI to make little videos of Tony crying and shit, that's hilarious. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. It's just, even if someone made one of Bischoff crying right now, it'd be fucking funny, right? Like, you gotta admit. So again, grifters, the new term Meltzer uses. Here's Vince Russo and Jeff Lane. Shout out Jeff Lane and Vince Russo and the brand. And also shout out Eric Bischoff and 83 Weeks.
It's really funny, kind of like the grifters. They're so anti-AEW. I had to have a budget, and he doesn't have.
Ooh, who punched him in the face?
Yeah, he's got a black eye, dude. The Black Eye Club. It's a humiliation ritual. Oh my god.
This is the new word. I mean, they've been trying to get this going. Yeah, if you criticize AEW on a podcast, you're a grifter. Like that, they will just label people that to try to discredit them. It doesn't matter what they're saying.
Yeah, people are over that shit. You can't just call people Nazis or Yahtzees, YouTube and shit anymore. Like, it just doesn't. People don't care. People are over that. Like, it just is, it means nothing, because, like, not to take it to that extreme, but it's the same thing. Grifter. There's all these terms people will just throw at people to undermine and just be like, oh no, you're not. I bet you voted for Trump and shit. It's like, yeah, you can't. It's just so like passe, I guess is the word. Like, people are just over that shit. You can't just when you start calling people grifters, then people start to go, are they really grifting? Then you look into it, right? So
if I call them a grifter, you can't take anything they say seriously.
Right. But only to your audience. Everything's a niche. Everything's a fucking niche. And there is plenty of crossover in the wrestling space, but Dave's just telling his audience that, like, Bischoff's a grifter, or like a Russo's a grifter, or Jim Cornette's a grifter. But they already think that anyways. So it's like, it doesn't really matter. I'm not trying to like shut down what Jeff's saying. He's spitting, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't even matter at this point. He's just speaking at a wall going, Like you're not convincing anybody, you know?
Then everybody also thinks, oh, they're a grifter.
Yeah.
So anybody that says anything criticizing AEW is now labeled as a grifter. These people are fucking losers, all of them, man.
It's really.
Oh man, Shadow Jeff. So do we have any more Bishop? Yeah, so here's Dave. You gotta let things go. And you gotta come up with new material. And so here's Dave going, got to let you go. This is black and white. Listen to the clip. You have to literally not understand English to come to this conclusion. Got to let you go now. This is like his shutdown. I got to let you go. Got to let you go now. Got to let you go. This is what he says to people that he's shutting down. Got to let you go. Beyond silly. I'm gonna let you go now. It's like, where did he hear this vernacular? He's like in a cafe and in like Southern Cali, and he's just like hearing some fucking cringe Lord Valley girls talk like this. I swear to God. I swear to God.
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
And I believe Sasha Banks is actually from the Bay Area. So I think that kind of applies, that drop there. Even though she claims Boston, I'm pretty sure she is from the Bay Area. I might be off on that, but someone fact check me. So, yeah, we had Dave going back and forth with like Niccolo. Well, not back and forth with Niccolo Piccolo. He won't address Niccolo Piccolo. That's the goddamn problem. But Dave Meltzer says, to some people, actual and arguable facts that go against your narrative is considered a loss of credibility. You know, the key is Brian, the key to learning is to keep your mind open. The key to stop learning is to close it from all outside facts. And then this guy responds, just fucking felts Dave Meltzer here. Dave Feltzer, Tom Ace. So you stopped learning a long time ago? Got it. Roasted. Oh man, I love that shit. Oh, dude. Yeah, Dave, you quit learning a long time ago. Niccolo Piccolo hits him with a fortune cookie, but there's a couple more of them barbing back and forth here. And here's Sling Blade Dave. Jim Cornette needs to get new material. Here's how many tweets Davis put out saying, Meltzer math, second grade math, pretty basic math, failed math in elementary school, second grade math, basic math, in a math challenged country. You have to realize that in a math challenged country, yo, dude, he called Americans stupid. He said that you guys are math challenged. That shit is hilarious. No, Sasha Banks was born in Fairfield, California. And then claims Boston, I guess. So, amazing that people who have never read a thing and listen to fraudcasters have an aversion and fear of simple math. You notice Dave isn't like telling people they fear shit lately as well. We've like claimed it. It's like fake news. We like claimed that fucking term. You know, we took it back. But the math was free. You missed that the math was free. So him just talking about math constantly, meanwhile, he just ignores math all the time. Math is a really cool thing. And so Dave Meltzer, he always says dumb shit like this. So this guy goes, props to you, Dave, for apparently having more understanding of Netflix data traffic than every media entity on earth. Must be tough to be so smart. Yo, shout out Michael Nance. Just cooked him. And then Dave Meltzer goes, boxing people told me before this to look out for it. Boxing people. Everybody's just one of those people, Brian. You're either one of those rapper people or one of these boxing people. And don't forget about the Mexican people like my co-host Garrett, right? Like he always just boxing people told me before this to look out for it. They knew. So nope, only me and everyone on this app who are math majors. One person after another on this app for months did the math and came to the same conclusion. And so, yeah, the conversation came up of Dave Meltzer and closing the gap, or with Dave Meltzer and AEW closing the gap. We'll get more into that. But Nicolo Piccolo posts, these boxing people, are they in the room with us right now? That's what I'm saying. Y'all see this recent South Park with, they're making fun of like the woman with the hat movie or whatever. I forget what it's called. The woman in the hat. And she's like in the front yard with the hat.
It's here right now. In the corner.
But it's Melania Trump, dude. I don't know. It's funny. I think it's funny.
I'm pretty sure that's your wife, sir.
My wife? What does it want?
Oh, man, it's pretty funny. I just watched that like yesterday. I didn't realize, man. I was like 4 episodes behind on South Park. So Patrick Mahomes. So moving along here, well, more Nicolo Piccolo, actually. He takes Filthy Tom Lawler and he says, would you do me a favor and ask Brian, is he really going to take this shit? And so this lady, Melissa Roscoe, just, again, Feltz Meltzer, dude. Why couldn't you watch it with your quote-unquote girlfriend? And then Meltzer goes, I did. I'm trying to have him avoid the pitfalls, although she did love most of the series and shared my views on Urion. The fight scenes were a major turnoff. And then Lissa was like, wasn't saying you didn't have a girlfriend. Sorry. I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood that. But yeah, fucking Nicolo Piccolo just called Brian his girlfriend. What are you going to do about that, Brian? And so here's Dave arguing with more people. So Powerful King JJ posts, NXT Deadline has surpassed Dynamite's attendance at this very same venue. Did they? That. Meltzer goes, I almost hate doing this, but that, and it's so funny. This is an incredible self-own from Dave Meltzer here, okay? It's fucking incredible.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
He goes, I almost hate doing this, but that's simply because the set was larger for the AEW show, which sold out in advance. NXT is a smaller production setup and isn't sold out, but will be by Saturday. Making a point either way about actual real sellouts is disingenuous. So you're disingenuous. Yeah. Then why did you just make a fucking point about it then, if making a point?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither, Lex. Like, Dave, just stop. I almost hate doing this. Yeah, because you look like a dumb fuck. Because you just flip-flop around like a fish on a fucking hot deck, dude. On a hot dock, man. And so Dave Meltzer, he goes, well, this guy, he's responding to Dave, so let's look. This guy says, I just can't fathom who would be watching TNA on AMC that isn't watching it now. Yeah, I know you can't fathom it because you're a fucking redact, Noah, okay? Like, are WWE fans really looking to add a 4th night of the week for watching wrestling? Bro, are AEW fans looking for that? Your answer would be, yeah, if there was 4 nights of, and also it's not just WWE fans, okay? And just look into this shit. You can just look into it. Switchblade, he posts that little fucking thing. I'm too dumb and don't got the time to look into that. He fucking did. And it just shows you over the last decade, everywhere they've gone, they do better than the average show. They average better than the average, than the destination. Like, what is Pop? Is that a channel? Is that I don't fucking know. Is that a station? Is that whatever? Everywhere they've gone, they do better than the average. That's all that matters. AMC, they have the potential to do really well. I can't imagine more people becoming fans of this new or this revitalized wrestling company. This is why AEW is dead in the water, man. You guys just gatekeep. Meanwhile, your shit's sinking. Right? And I can't imagine why a bunch of people would want to watch wrestling. Meanwhile, a bunch of people started watching Dynamite when it came out. And everyone was happy about that. Like, it's so fucking cringe. But Dave Meltzer, Access is in around 33 to 35 million homes. AMC is in about 57 million. So there is an answer. It's similar to the idea that why would new people watch AEW when it went from 64 million to 99 million homes, or why less people would watch Raw and SmackDown when they went to new destinations. And then this guy goes, they're on Sportsnet 360 here in Canada and haven't done well at all from what I've gathered. Just being on a larger network doesn't always guarantee a larger audience. Yeah. No shit. No shit. So that's why you look at the trends. It's not that people are talking out of their ass and going, oh yeah, they're just going to do better, because it's the same thing. It's so funny because what this Noah guy's saying is exactly what everyone said about AEW. Doesn't mean it's going to, just because they're on whatever the fuck, or they add this show, doesn't mean more people are going to watch it. Just because they're on streaming doesn't mean magically 1 million people who were just watching streaming are going to start watching AEW. All you people spurg out. Oh, you just are an AEW hater. I believe the fucking BJ Bethel. You guys all spurg out about it. It's fucking crazy. But then with TNA, you're just saying the exact same shit. And it's like, oh yeah, that's valid because it's TNA. Don't you guys get it? Don't you guys get it? Okay. TNA's number 3 in this convo. I've broken it down. You guys are now being threatened by an actual challenger. TNA's actually going to challenge AEW. And now you guys are just saying logical shit now, like, oh, they're not going to. And I don't know about them not doing well at all. Like, it's just wrestling in general in Canada. They're the same people who, all the wrestling fans are just going to watch wrestling. Like, I don't think there's like, maybe there's like tons of sicko tribalists in Canada. I'm sure there's some, but I guarantee they all watch the majority of WWE for the most part. I'm willing to fucking guarantee that. But yeah, him just saying what people said about AEW, but then all these sickos got triggered over it. Just being on a larger network doesn't always guarantee a larger audience. Exactly. Get it now? And then Dave Meltzer goes, yeah, I remember when. Fuck, I hate this. Ask Grok to explain this post. No. Yeah, I remember when Sportsnet didn't make a deal with AEW and then got TNA, and people were saying, oh, TNA on the bigger station would outrate AEW. Who was saying that? Who the fuck was saying that? And AEW was beating them like 4-5 to 1. Exactly. That's why I feel people should temper their expectations as to what TNA will do on AMC. I think after 6 months, if they are averaging over 150K and 0.04, that would be considered a success. I mean, now who the fuck are you to fucking, like, oh yeah, fucking mathematician over here. Everyone should shut up, but like me and you, Dave, let's just like glaze each other and like tell each other how we're right, and like I'll make predictions, but everyone else should just chill out and only my prediction's good. It's like, shut the fuck up, man. These people are such like elitist fucking pricks, man. It's so cringy. It's like, bro, just don't worry about it. You're not going to watch anyway. Why are you coping? Everyone's just worried because it's going to start spanking AEW. And actually, no, continue to worry about it. Keep talking about TNA. Keep fucking doing it, because all it's going to do is make them pop the fuck off. So Andrade El Idolo, well, actually here, speaking of the TNA deal, this is what Dave Meltzer had to say. Okay. And he goes, it's good for TNA. They're going to be up. It's a much stronger station. So let's take a listen to this clip, and then Eric Bischoff has a response.
Big news for TNA.
It's going to be on AMC. It starts January the 15th. They'll probably do well, like just from hyping everything the first couple of weeks. And then, you know, as with all shows, about a month in, you can kind of figure out where it's going to land. It's good for TNA. I mean, they're going to be, they're going to be up. I mean, I think that Access was in maybe.
It's just terrible analysis.
35.
I study and learn the business. Who listens to this and is entertained?
Million homes. I mean, I hadn't seen the numbers of late. It was over 40 million. It's actually about 45 million a couple of years ago, but obviously these, you know, all these numbers have dwindled since then. So I'm going to.
Who cares about a couple years ago, Dave? Unless you're talking about what TNA did on fucking Access a couple years ago. No one cares. Shut up.
I think it's in 35 million, around that range. So it's not quite double the homes, but it's also a much more, I mean, it's a much stronger station.
And no one's talking about how it's AMC launching sports on their shit. Now, obviously, it's not going to like blow up fucking the way Breaking Bad did or Walking Dead, but it's AMC introducing pro wrestling and live streaming and sports and shit to their, you know what I mean? So like, that's a huge deal as well. And I mean, there's a lot more behind it than just like, well, TNA's on like fucking Access just to keep it alive, and no one knows what the fuck Access is. It's AMC, bro. It's a big deal.
So it's a big plus. So we'll see how they do. I mean, you know, obviously it's going to help. Plus, they're getting paid for it, which with Access, I mean, they weren't getting paid, you know, but they were kept on the air. They were, you know, it's interesting because
they weren't
Anthem
getting paid, you know, but they were, you know, kept on the air. Yeah, because Anthem, they own Access and TNA, bro. So like, any money TNA brought in, they own it. So it's like, and if they lose money, then they own it. So like, what are you talking about? They weren't getting paid to be on it. Yeah, because it was just them putting it on Access because they own them.
Access
like,
largely so TNA could get back on television, you know, because they were on, you know, like absolutely terribly weak TV before that in the United States. So I'm wondering, like, if they're moving TNA off Access,
it's because they can get money for it, or are they just going to sell Access? Maybe, but like, Dave, now you're doing this, like, he heard someone else say this and he's just like parroting it or parroting it or something. You know what I mean? Like he's just, this isn't even an original thought or anything. I swear. He's just sitting here going, oh, maybe they'll get rid of Access and shit. It's like, well, yeah, but TNA's popular working with WWE. Part of working with WWE was like, well, look at what these big TV deals. I mean, they gave this fucking failing shit AEW 180 million. We don't even want 50. We don't even need 100 million. Or like they want it, obviously, but we don't even need 50 to 100 million. You know what I mean? Look at WWE. They're doing all these big ass deals. The potential's here with TNA. We've been around whatever the fuck. So they look at that and they go, that's awesome. We can get money for TNA now after we kept it on TV on Access for a while. And it's like, if people were trying to shill out money for Invicta, they'd fucking sell that too. I don't think it indicates they're going to sell off Access, but maybe like
they would probably want to unload that. I would think. I think that the future of Access is probably going to be in question.
And like, who gives a fuck about that even? Like, I'm sorry, you know, I'm not here cheering for like Access TV or whatever. So I mean, all right, what does that have to do with? It's almost like he's trying to point out like a negative about, I mean, Access was only around for this just to keep TNA alive. And I mean, they'll probably just get rid of it now. And it's like, well, what about this? Like, talk about how TNA is getting 30 million and how that's a game changer for them and shit. I don't know. Eric Bischoff responds and goes, it's not a station, you out of touch cosplay parasite. Try and get out of the 80s. It's a cable outlet channel platform, but it's definitely not a station. Having another monthly 50% off sale this month. Oh, hit him with the 50% off sale. Oh, the grift continues, man. So Dave Meltzer, you know, he doesn't bring up the key demo anymore. People are pointing that out, but he goes, you know, Dynamite last Wednesday did 512.10, very strong in 25 to 54 by current standards. Where's the 18 to 49, Dave? Where's the fucking 18 to 49? I don't
know.
Oh man. Key demos, what matters? Overall viewership. Then he switches to key demo. Now he's like, oh, well, the key demo's 25 to 51. Wow. Since the switch, they did the best in that category, except Blood and Guts. And it's okay to evolve with the times, right? Like, it's okay. But Dave spent like the last 2 or 3 years spurging out and freaking out about, oh, fucking streaming, like just not knowing shit. Oh, they're making money, 3.6 million a week, and the key demo is what matters, not the fucking overall viewership. And there's 500,000 on Max Buy and a 30% pay-per-view. Just talking all this shit, and then he condescends anyone who calls him on it and tells them that times have changed. But now that Dave deems he can talk about the 25 to 54, he's not going to have 7 million tweets retracting all the condescension and bullshit that he did to everybody along the way. So, oh man, Dave never ceases to amaze. So, Dave gets into it. He gets called out over by Andrade again. Okay, so Dave Meltzer talks about Andrade. Let's take a listen to this clip. He's with Tryon Bryan here.
Interview in Mexico, I would be very, very skeptical of some of it. But
look at this fucking hat. So what happened? Like the Just for Men order didn't come in. It wasn't the right color. He accidentally got blue-black. He accidentally got the blue-black color. Oh, my
Right, what's the update with Andrade?
His fucking, he didn't have his glue that day, so he couldn't glue on the few little hairs.
So he did an interview in Mexico. I would be very, very skeptical of some of it. But he basically said that his non-compete is worldwide and that he expects it to be settled in less than 3 months. His claim is that he didn't know that there was a non-compete when he went to AEW, or wasn't. And then when he went on, then WWE contacted him and said, "Hey, you're on a non-compete."
So Tony put him on TV without a contract?
He may have signed a contract.
He signed a contract, and it's the worst, Ran. Fucking, this is why the YouTube TV thing matters. Not to bring it back to that, but it's like, Tony, you got to pick up the phone. Tony, you got to make sure guys aren't signed to other companies before. Why didn't your lawyers look over his shit? It's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy. It's so Bush League. He's focused on. He's a great matchmaker. Okay, well, stop doing that. Anyone can do that. Okay, anyone can make good matches. They do it on 2K all the time. There's fantasy 2K leagues that are fucking crushing it in views, probably crushing Dave's views and mine combined, with people just playing fantasy 2K leagues already on Twitch and shit, bro. Like, we know, okay? Like, anyone can matchmake. We're not fucking Jesus Christ. And especially in this landscape of pro wrestling, when there's so many fucking good pro wrestlers around the world, it's like, yeah, anyone can matchmake, bro. Now tell a story and fucking handle your business. Why did this guy show up on your TV? I think it's one of the funniest stories of the year.
No, not without the knowledge that he couldn't sign a contract. He obviously told Tony that there was no non-compete. We had, obviously people in WWE believed there was no non-compete. The way he is telling the story is,
why did obviously people in WWE believe it? He's trying to spread incompetence across the board. Nope. WWE contacted him and said there's a non-compete after he showed up on TV. Obviously they thought there was they didn't know that he was going to show up on TV that night on Dynamite. So they contacted him after. Dave, stop trying to spread Tony's incompetence and his accountability across the board and to everyone else.
No non-compete. And then they told him there was after he had appeared on AEW because they were mad he appeared on AEW. The other thing he said that doesn't make sense was he claimed that he left WWE on great terms, which
yeah.
Yeah, it's just called being professional. Even if they piss some people off there, it's just being professional and not come on.
I've never been fired on great terms. I don't know about you.
They pretty much buried you pretty bad on the way out. I don't know how good.
Yeah, because you've been working for Dave as his fucking lapdog for the last 30 years, Bri. No, how long has Dave and Bri been teamed up?
How good those terms were. And I know people who are going well, he'll never be back there. And it's like, I actually thought that.
It's like you never got fired on good terms. So you never had a seasonal job or you got laid off or some shit. Because wintertime you can't work outdoors or whatever. And you fucking, you know what I mean? You got to reapply or phone your fucking your old boss up when the snow melts and go, hey, bud, maybe that's a Canadian thing, but it's like, hey, yeah, I can work, That's, you never done that, bro? I don't know.
Back at some point.
I'm not saying that's what happened with Andrade, but goddamn, man, come on. Dave's been doing this for 50 fucking years, so it's not like he can talk about work experience.
He were to do well in AEW, they're going to want him back, because that's just how wrestling is.
Who's going to want him back? WWE? I don't know about that. Maybe one day, everybody goes back to get their induction and all that shit, So Andrade el Idolo responded and he says, I didn't sign any contract. Sir, you say it with such certainty that I signed a contract when that's just another one of your lies. Do some more research, sir. I was in negotiations to sign because Mr. Tony Khan and the AEW team were having good discussions, and we came to an excellent agreement. I'm especially grateful to TK and AEW in general. Then I received a non-compete clause after my AEW debut in my first match in Tijuana, the Crash. But I want to clarify that I didn't know if that was the issue with WWE. Honestly, I don't know the answer to that. Lo mejor para usted. So he doesn't like destroy him, but he just corrects him. And then Dave can't help it. His ego. Dave's fucking ego, man. He responds, except I didn't say that at all. Bro, you just got felted by Andrade. He just 10-7'd you. Okay. He just defeated you by countout right there. And except I didn't say that at all. You're a fucking narcissistic asshole, aren't you, Dave? Like, he just responded to you. He's being very kind. He also is speaking like his English is his second language and whatnot. He speaks with a very thick accent, and you can tell by the way he lays this out, his sentences out and stuff. This isn't his fucking, you know what I mean? So he might have used a fucking Google Translate or something for that. I don't even know. And shout out Andrade, by the way. But it's like, Dave, just why you stirring shit up, you know? So again, and then Andrade responds and goes, you said we know. Next time you say they know. It's like, exactly, Dave. You don't know. It's just like with the station thing. You don't even know what you're saying. You're just babble mouth. Blah, blah, blah. It's all you do. You glaze and you chug, bro. You glaze and you fucking chug. So speaking of glazing and chugging, let's take a look at what Dave and Brian had to say about some WWE shit. And then we'll take a listen to what they said about some AEW shit. And Dave Meltzer largely gets everything wrong, including copyright strikes. But he largely gets things wrong when it comes to his WrestleMania predictions, largely. And yeah, and then he talks about closing the gap and whatnot. Yeah, here's Dave actually arguing. Yeah, so he responded to that Jeff Lane clip, and he goes, word has been around in that vernacular since 2021, so you're wrong by 4 years. I use that term fraudcasters for that. It's like, Dave, no, you don't come and tell a guy, I don't know how old Jeff Lane is, but you're fucking beyond a boomer. What's like older than a boomer, dude? You're like old as fuck, dude. You're Tales of the Crypt Keeper. Don't go and tell people internet stuff because you fucking hang out on Twitter all day and live in fucking SoCal and are a prissy little valley girl bitch, okay? You don't get to tell people, I'm hip, I'm with it, I'm cool, tucka, 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 ha, right? That's the vibes Dave gives off. Anyways, though, here's Dave talking some shit about WWE, and then we'll get into his AEW glazing. So here is a Dave actually putting over this spot with Cena and Dom. Now, obviously, they did not mean to. Nobody means to land on their fucking neck this way, but they did obviously plan to do some sort of like injury spot. Now, are they just so good that Dom really did mean to take this bump this way? Maybe it's fucking real dangerous. But he actually puts it over here. And I'm actually proud of Dave on
Dom
this. We'll give Dave a fucking bass flute during this one, I think.
Goes for a diving hurricane run off the barricade. It was exactly like Penta. Except the difference was Penta actually hit the move and hurt himself. In this one, Dom went for the diving hurricane rana, but Cena didn't take the bump and kind of half power bombed him on his shoulder. And it looked like they botched the spot.
Yeah, I don't think they meant, I think they half botched it, but it worked because no one's hurt and they planned to do like he's going to fake an injury. But I don't know if anybody means to drop someone on their fucking neck like that, or even Dom, like to drop himself on his own. Maybe, but that's some like All Japan shit right there, dude. That's some ECW Taz shit right there.
They did a tremendous job.
It was tremendous. Yeah.
I was convinced this guy was hurt.
Oh shit, they're based.
I wasn't
based
sure
Meltzer.
When they kept the camera on him, it was like, wait a minute. I know WWE. If a guy's really hurting there, you know, and it's an accident, they take the camera off him right away. So
yeah, Dave listening to PWT, studying and
but
learning.
I thought it was
from
brilliant
the best
because they basically, they did the Penta spot. I mean, it was just like everyone saw that spot, or most of the fans did that watched Raw anyway. And it's like, so in their minds, it's like, oh my God, Penta legitimately got hurt. Everyone knows Penta got hurt. Let's copy that spot. And Dominic sold it so great. I mean, just like,
was that let's copy this spot? Maybe
he was hurt, and they, the way Cena dropped him, it was just like, it looked like the botch of all botches, and it was actually what was
the botch of all botches
planned. It was really tremendous.
And so suddenly they hit Liv Morgan's.
Yeah, it really was good, and I think it was like half botched, and that's why it came across so good, because it's kind of a shoot. It kind of shoot was fucked up, but at the same time, it worked. So
music, crowd goes wild for her return. She runs down to the ring. Dom wants a hug. They have a stare down for a long time, and then she slaps him.
Yeah, I mean, they just go over the
on Cena's arms, gives him a big camera with the same look, turned heel.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. I thought
because
this was the way they should have done it.
Yeah, well, the other thing too is now I think John has to beat Gunther.
Yes, it's exactly how it should have been the entire time.
Because
he needs to win his last match.
Because he should not go out losing 2 in a row.
Why? Why should he not go out losing 2 in a row? It just hurts him. It hurts his role in Peace. It hurts his role in Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Buddy, like, what are you talking about, Dave? He can't lose 2 in a row. Why? He's never wrestling again. It's not like he's ever going to wrestle again. Why the fuck would he win? Like, and I'm okay if Cena wins or lose. I don't care. I've told you guys with this Cena retirement, I refuse to be a whiny bitch like everyone's being. I'm just enjoying it, man. You don't get Cena anymore after 9 days from now, okay? What day is that shit on? The 15th, the 13th? I can't remember. I don't know. No more Cena. He reiterated it on like Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or some shit the other night too. He's like, I will not wrestle past, or one of the medias he's done recently. He's like, I will not wrestle again. I believe we'll see Cena as like a general manager, maybe not GM, but like Cena will be an on-screen character in WWE in some capacity in the future, whether it's in 5 years, 10 years, 3 years. He'll come out at a Mania. He won't wrestle. He won't even maybe hit a move. Maybe he'll just give someone the rub, or so. Like he'll announce the attendance like the way Stone Cold does. Hopefully not crash an ATV in anybody. He'll have a part in. One day I could see like heel Cena in a suit with gray hair, like I'm running things here, like a Vince McMahon character, or even maybe he's like the good guy, beloved guy in the set. Whatever. I just see Cena being a part of wrestling way in the future, but not wrestling anymore. He's saying he ain't doing it. I believe it. You see how he comes out, dude. He's like hunched over almost. Like you can tell he's just working to keep his back up and shit. Like, and he's crushing it every match. And them saying Cena can't lose 2 in a row. Why? It doesn't hurt his stock. Oh, it hurts his stock. In what? Like, this isn't fucking 1984 and like he's done. It's not like he's going to show up in AEW or some shit. He's got to pass the torch to the future. Cena's been adamant, like, I'm laying down on my back and I'm going out on my back. Like, he's pretty much made that clear that that's what he's going to fucking do. And I don't care if he wins or loses. But Gunther should take the win, and he shouldn't lose 2 in a row. That's like some 70s shit, Dave. What are you saying, bro? Like, no, he fucking should, because he's never going to wrestle again. So he just needs to pay it forward. There's no like, oh, his return match, it just hurts him in the future. No, he's a beloved actor, and he's like way up there now where he's getting these fucking huge roles, and he's in the DCU. He's like a focal point of that. I would just, he hosts that Wipeout show as well that comes on after AEW and shit. He's doing so much. He's the voice of like those like Nissan car, or maybe it's not Nissan, it's like Toyota or whatever. It's John Cena's voice. You guys know that? He's getting the Morgan Freeman gigs and shit. Like he's A+++ list. So it's like, no one cares if he loses. It's not going to hurt his role in Jumanji 3 or whatever the fuck they're making. I know The Rock's in Jumanji, but like, how long until Cena fucking shows up in one of those? Or like one of these movies, he's Superman or whatever the fuck. I just think that's such like an old, dated fucking take to have. Hey, you can't lose 2 in a row. Why? Well, the crowd will be upset. Will they? It's almost like that's part of wrestling. You got to make them cheer for shit, and you got to upset them with some shit. And they will still pop and go crazy if Gunther and Cena shake hands at the end. They'll go nuts for that. So Dave responds, speaking of WWE, this is sort of in the middle here, stuck in the middle with you. We talked about Andrade before, but here's him like coping over the response.
About Andrade, and I said,
I should have played this before, but I accidentally skipped over the clip.
You asked me, and it's like, they put him on there without a deal, and I go, for all we know, he might have had one. I don't know. Andrade, I don't know if he doesn't know English well, so I'm kind of going to, give him a pass. He goes, you liar, I never signed. What he said is that he never signed, but they were negotiating.
So Andrade, like, this is how fucking stupid you are, dude. Your editor puts the tweet right here. Puts the tweet.
Stupid idiot.
Right. And this is why Dave's a narcissist. He's like a sociopath. He can't be told, like, how dare anyone even question any word I ever say ever, or ask me a question or correct anything I say ever. And you can tell that's his mentality and that's his attitude towards people. Why? Because look, your editor put what Andrade said right here. Lots of exclamations, very kind, right? Calling Mr. Tony Khan, sir. He just said, do some more research, sir. I was in negotiations to sign. He calls you sir, thumbs up. I don't know what le mejor para usted. What is that? Lo mejor para usted in English. What does that mean? The best for you. So he literally wishes the best for you, Dave Meltzer, and all of these things. And he's like very kind towards Dave. And then Dave, listen to what he fucking just lies to everybody. And again, it's projection. Liar! Caught you, Dave, in a projection. You're saying that you're literally lying, saying that he came out and went, oh, you're a liar.
Liar!
Oh.
Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
Listen to this.
So we talked about Andrade, and I said, you asked me, and it's like, they put him on there without a deal, and I go, for all we know, he might have had one. I don't know. Andrade, I don't know if he doesn't know English well, so I'm kind of going to, give him a pass. He goes,
oh my God. I don't know if it's because he doesn't know English well. Jeepers, man.
English well.
And then listen to this. So I'm kind of going like, whatever. But he goes, you're a liar, blah, blah, blah. He didn't say that.
And, give him a pass. He goes, you liar, I never signed.
You liar, I never said. Where'd he call you a liar? Oh, you are a liar.
Liar!
I'm calling you one because you just exposed yourself as a liar right
Tell
here.
us what you
You're
know,
a liar.
you goddamn
You're
liar!
lying about him calling you a liar. That is like liception, dude. This is what I mean. It's sicko vecna. Y'all watching Stranger Things season 4? You guys caught up? I'm gonna stream my shit on Phil Mark's Out channel on tomorrow. Time cop. But Phil Mark's Out channel, I'm going to do a live stream talking about Stranger Things season 4, and Dave is like all in his ultimate sicko vecna mode. At least he thinks he is, but it's the opposite effect.
So what he said was,
he's just poning himself.
Is that he never signed, but they were negotiating. I mean, obviously they did the angle with the idea that he was going to sign. So he had not signed the deal. They were, they were negotiating the deal. So that's the basic story there. Aside from that, it was just weird because it's like he plays the clip from our show, and I clearly say that, I don't know. And he goes,
so no. That's the problem, man, is that, Dave, when you're like, I'm a journalist, I don't know, and let me just speculate on all this shit, and then let me not tell you sources, and then Tony Khan calls me on the phone, but then I just say people in WWE said this, and then it's always lies, and it's always wrong, which we're about to go over, your WrestleMania matches, and I don't know, man, it's just like, he's calling you a liar. He first off, he didn't even call you a liar. You just expose yourself on that, and then like you're like, you played the clip where I clearly said I don't know. Yeah, but you can't play that game, dude. You can't play Lex when you claim and you're condescending and you. How dare anyone question
I don't know.
Like, you know, anytime anyone says anything to oppose you, you have some fucking smug reply like, you can never be wrong. You're just infallible. You're in the infallible Phil Marks.
It's the clip from our show. And I clearly say that, I don't know. And he goes, you're a liar. You said I signed. You made it very clear that I signed, and I didn't sign yet. And it's like, well, what? And so it was kind of a weird morning when I saw that, because I
bet it was weird. I bet every morning's weird. I bet life is weird for you, Dave, because you just live in this delusion.
Oh, I never said he signed. I mean, and then, all these people, it's like the clip is right there. Like, if you just watch the clip, you could see that he just misunderstood. I'm sure he was goaded into this by other people too, by the way.
Yeah, goad. I'm sure he was goaded into it. Does he mean Nicolo Piccolo?
I didn't say that. So anyway, the deal, he hasn't signed. He was looking to sign. They were negotiating.
Just ask him. Call him on the phone. Ask Tony. Make an official thing. This is what's happening. Stop just speculating on it and just lying about shit, dude. And then lying, saying that he came at you aggressively. You're a liar. No, he didn't do that. That's what I'm doing. Andrade didn't do that, bro. He fucking wrote like a nice tweet to you. He was a little condescending with the but it's not even condescending, bro. Like with Dave, it's because in Dave's mentality, everyone's punching up at him. So is it ever really, can you ever really condescend Dave? I don't think so in his mind even. But speaking of his mind, Dave Meltzer says Austin Theory was originally supposed to be in the War Games match, but Jacob Fatu's injury made WWE move the Rhodes versus McIntyre feud up a month. Okay. Oh my God. Dave has no. Remember when he just said that Drew is going away? Drew's filming a movie. That's why he's suspended. And then he's there. And it's because that movie he's fucking filming got pushed back a year until they start production. I think started the new year here. If I had to guess, I don't know. I'm just saying, if I had to guess, I would assume, January, February, maybe. But I mean, Rhodes and Drew, like I told you guys, just expect them to work together a bunch and for a long program. And Dave's over here now. Oh, they had to bump it up because this and that and this and that. It's like, I don't know, man. Maybe Dave's right. Whatever. I don't fucking. But that freed both Rhodes and Drew up for war. And this could be true too. I mean, whatever. It doesn't. But they had how many matches already? It just seems like they wanted a star-studded affair. We're going out in a family affair. Ooh. I think they just kind of wanted like a star-studded affair, but maybe Dave's right. Maybe they were supposed to work another singles. Drew fit better in the match than Theory. I mean, a lot of people have been speculating that Theory's going to come back. Whatever, that's just Dave's reporting. I'm not going to roast it. Maybe that's what he heard, right? So Dave had this to say as well about the impression he was given on Saturday by what? I don't know.
All right, what is the WrestleMania main event?
I mean,
well, he talks about WrestleMania main events, and again, this is just. I mean, it's
gonna be Roman Reigns.
I think he's gonna be completely wrong about this. I think he is completely wrong when he's like, it was gonna be Roman and Seth. Let's just listen.
All right, what is the WrestleMania?
Husey came on this show and said a bunch of different shit. And shout out K100. They were talking about PWT. Shout out whoever wrote into K100 and then was like, hey, I was watching Husey on PWT. Shout you out, man. But you called me Pro Wrestling Times. It's Pro Wrestle Times. A lot of people fuck
main event.
I mean, it was going to be Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, but and Seth Rollins did say that he's hoping to get back for WrestleMania. I was given.
And then he just confidently says Seth and Roman, which, like, okay,
the impression that the WrestleMania main event that there will be on Saturday. There will be teases. That will.
I was given the impression. No, it's just the easiest thing to say. It's just the easiest thing to go. I bet in War Games they tease what's coming at Mania. Like it's officially Mania season. We were talking about it on the show right after Survivor Series, dog. It is Mania season. The road to the Rumble's just as important as the road to fucking WrestleMania, which I know they say starts after the Rumble, but nah, that shit starts after Survivor Series, and especially with the War Games is where it's the big blow off, or you have the elimination match. You just kind of throw everyone together, and then you really start driving home like, this guy's going to be in the Rumble. This guy's going to be in the Rumble. Our plan for Mania is this, da-da-da-da-da. So it's just like the easy thing to say that, Dave. I don't think anyone tipped you off to shit, and especially not that hat.
Help you figure out who the WrestleMania main event will be. Certainly on Monday, the tease on Monday. The tease on Monday was absolutely a tease for the main event, which would lead you to believe it's Roman Reigns challenging either Cody Rhodes or Punk. In which case, because Cody Rhodes has been done twice before, I would favor them going with Punk. But I think that on Saturday we will probably have a better idea. Although I'm going to guess that they'll shoot a tease with both of them just to keep that question going. But you know, that is, you know, there are going to be teases of something on the show Saturday.
They're going to tease. So I actually don't really know. You know, they could just tease anything. Oh my God, bro. They'll tease something. Did we get a tease of what's to come? It looks like Punk and the Zebra, and, you know, him and Roman, they're the Zebros. They're kind of tight. So I don't know, man. Who knows? But Dave Meltzer goes on to predict WrestleMania matches. So he said that CM Punk versus Braun Breaker for Mania. WWE announced CM Punk versus Braun Breaker for WWE Raw in January. Dave also took a shot and said that they're going to do, they'll tease like Reigns Rhodes there. Like he kind of alluded to that. Speaking of teases, like Dave was teasing shit. Let's hear his criticism of like, why do Rhodes versus Roman? Here's the thing, man. For longer than this, they've been teasing Orton versus Cena. They've been teasing that forever now. And that, I mean, allegedly, okay? I don't fucking know.
Allegedly.
But I heard from a lucky Irishman here on PWT, I think once before, that he heard from somewhere, you know, that it's, I mean, Orton, if you watch the fucking show, it's Orton and Rhodes has been teased, and you don't see Orton a lot. Why? His back's fucked. He's done in the next like 2 years, guys, like 1 year, 2 years. Okay. And so he's going to get this match off with Rhodes. I think we see, and I made this prediction, I think we see heel Rhodes versus babyface Orton. Now, I don't know if they pull that off by this Mania, but I think that would be a way cooler dynamic. And then Rhodes could like even be the one to retire Orton. That'd be pretty crazy. But I'm not saying Orton's going to retire at this Mania. It's not like he's washed. It's just like, again, man, these guys are getting older. They're banged up. Remember, Orton is coming off that injury, and we haven't seen him around a lot. Why? Because he gets banged up pretty easy, and it's not even a knock on him, man. But he came back from that injury where he didn't even think he was going to be able to wrestle again. So I don't know. Dave's critical of this. His predictions seem a little off, though. I just think that he's trying to piece this together, but he's not thinking about like, well, Orton's there. Roman versus Brock, maybe. You guys think they go back to that? A Drew versus Brock could be in the works as well. A rematch in front of people at Mania. Things of this nature.
Punk getting pinned. I mean, that finish was there.
Maybe they main event with Rhodes Punk as like a AEW shot, or at least that's how people will interpret it.
Not that be a great finish for this match. It was there to tell the story. And the story is, you know, like I said the other day, it's like this whole thing, when we come out of this match, the idea was we're supposed to know WrestleMania, which is Cody and Roman and Punk and Braun Breaker. Championship matches.
What? Punk and Breaker. See, Dave is now just inserting like, well, we were supposed to know. No, we're not, bro. He's just like applying the shit he made up. This expectation he made up that isn't there.
The other day, it's like this whole thing, when we come out of this match, The idea was we're supposed to know.
No, how is that the idea, bro? It's not even the Rumble yet. Chamber, we still have the Rumble and Chamber. What do you mean the idea was we're supposed to, who told you this fake news? Like Dave makes shit up about WWE, or whoever tells him shit, their job is to purposefully tell him fake shit.
WrestleMania, which is Cody and Roman and Punk.
And everyone gossips about Triple H. So you can't, it's just like whatever, people hate on fucking Triple H, but they work for him. So who gives a fuck?
And Braun Breaker are the championship matches. So that's what it was there for. It was to tell you.
Cody and Roman for the third time in 4 years.
That's the plan as of today. Yeah.
That's the plan as of today, which I just made up. And that could be not the plan when I fucking, and it could be, dude, like, here's the thing. Roman beat him twice. What's the scorecard on that? Roman beat him twice. Rhodes beat him once. Okay. So Rhodes beats him again. And then we get the fifth and final match before they both hang it up eventually. Here's the thing. And I'm just saying, even if that was the case, right? I'm just like, okay, let's say Dave's right. Well, I'm not even against that. That shit drew. Like, that was big money for WWE. And people are interested in the Rhodes. It's one of the great rivalries of our time, Brian. But I think all of everything is pointing to we're getting a heel Rhodes. It's not like Roman's going to go full blast heel on Rhodes again. Like, the roles will be switched. And I think we're getting full blast fucking heel Rhodes taken on, like, Jacob Fatu, who's really over. Gunther, who's becoming a babyface. Punk, who's a babyface. Roman, who's like a tweener but a babyface. But the reason I call him a tweener is because, like, again, it's not like he's kissing babies and shit. He didn't change anything about his character. He just makes saves now, but that's still, like, you could chalk it up to his own personal beefs and shit. And he's just a babyface because the people want him to be. Rhodes versus Orton, who's a babyface, who we don't want to see. Like, we don't want to see Orton, like, maliciously punt kicking women and children and people when they're down, and men when they're down, like, go out that way to end his career. It's the same thing with Cena. Like, we wanted the heel run for a little bit, but we didn't want to see him go out that way. And with Orton, it's the same thing. No one's going to want to see him go out that way. He doesn't have a lot of time left. So heel Rhodes versus heel Orton and shit. I see that looming. Why? Because they're going to, because they're incompetent. It won't be what I just broke down. Well, because, like, Rhodes might flip heel and fucking shit's going to go crazy. He's going to dye his hair black and everyone's going to go fucking nuts. And, they, like, nothing, no thought of anything like that. Well, because there's all these baby faces that are clearly being set up. And so one of these guys got to switch hard. Someone's got to do a hard switch, because even LA Knight kind of did some tweener shit where it's like, are we going to switch him hard, or is he just BFT and Punk and then kind of doing babyface shit again, cutting babyface promos? Someone's got to do a hard switch. I think it's Rhodes.
I feel like we've been there, done that.
It's a rubber match. I don't know.
So this would be their third match, right? Okay.
The deal is so the deal is like,
oh yeah, because they lost what I'm thinking of is the match with, like, The Rock in it and shit on night one or whatever. That's why
that's he pinned CM Punk, the world champion, so he deserves a championship match. It's just basic old school booking. That's what it was there for. And Cody and Roman went. Did you see Cody and Roman at the end? I mean, it was very clear.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's actually the fourth time, because we had a Rock.
But it's very clear for what they could fight at the Chamber. They could team up. They could fucking fight at Rumble for the title, and then everyone else is in the Rumble match. Roman's not in the Rumble this year. That's how they keep him out of the Rumble this year, and so that he can have a little bit of time off before WrestleMania, like the month out when he's got to make a big return, pop a rating, and get everyone hyped for his match. You know what I mean? Like, so they do Rhodes and Roman at the fucking Rumble, and then a bunch of shenanigans happens in that where Roman's got to face Seth at Mania or whatever the fuck. Like, you're just skipping Chamber and Rumble, which are two, like, of the biggest events. Like, Chamber's up there now as they're taking it to Australia and doing fucking gangbusters with it. So it's becoming this huge event. Like the Rumble's a marquee. It's not like there hasn't been title matches at the Rumble to keep people out of the Rumble. And then you get a new champion at the Rumble, or the champion defends, and then someone wins the Rumble. And then at Chamber, even we've seen title switches there. Like, you're just like skipping over. I mean, it's WrestleMania tomorrow, Brian, this weekend. Like, what the fuck?
Roman, Cody,
I'm
and Seth.
traveling, Dave.
Actually, this is the 4th WrestleMania main event in 3 years with Roman and Cody. I thought it'd be Roman and Punk. That's at least a new match.
So did I. So did I. I did until tonight. I was surprised. And I thought that it would probably be Cody and Braun Breaker. But, I mean, this was it. I mean,
just they're scrambled. They're not even watching these shows. I'm convinced they're literally not even watching, because none of what they're even saying makes fucking sense. And speaking of not making sense here, Dave Meltzer buries War Games, and he's like, War Games just lost its aura and shit. It's nothing. And I just don't know if I agree. I think this year solidified that they're going to make Survivor Series 2 nights next year. And I do agree with having 2 War Games in one night is just not the way to go. You got to just have one, make it 2 nights, have the girls on one night, the guys, if you're going to do a guys and a girls, they should just put a traditional Survivor Series match on there, and then 1 War Games match if you're going to keep it one night. Has it lost its aura? I don't know. I think people get hyped for the War Games. I think that the attendance and shit proves that, but it's just a matter of seeing 2 of them on one night. But at the same time, like, is he going to say Blood and Guts is superior? Or
I
what?
think that they're just...
I think he is. I think we have a clip of that.
Losing the essence of War Games completely, even with Blood and Guts. I think that...
Oh, there you go. He criticizes Blood and Guts a little bit. Let's go, Dave. Base Meltzer.
Which I thought was those 2 Blood and Guts matches were tremendous, but...
Of course. So those 2 Blood and Guts were tremendous. But, in WWE, those War Games, man, those really sucked. They didn't fucking have women bleeding and not going through tables and shit.
It's just that the whole aura of it is just not there. It was no different than anything else. It didn't feel special at all. I mean, like I said, the men's match was pretty good, but it just didn't have that. It didn't have that blowaway feel or anything like that. Aside from like 2 or 3 spots.
If they're not going to take it 2 nights, I'll say this. I think War Games should maybe just happen. I mean, it fits well with the Survivor Series. Like, can you survive the War Games? But it could be on Bad Blood as well. Bad Blood, War Games. Like, you just add it to where whatever calls for a War Games whenever you need one. It doesn't even have to be once a year. But I don't think they're going to do that, because I think this whole Survivor Series War Games, like, I think it's just it's marketed well and it's worked for them. So I just don't think I think they'll just switch it to 2 nights, and then you have the girls on one night, the men's on the other night. Then you can have more matches as well, and then people will, night 1 was better than night 2 and shit, and then you escape all of this criticism.
It felt like less than a TV show. I mean, I get more out of most of the TV shows than I got out of the show tonight. And you get better interviews, obviously, because we didn't have any interviews. It was just like the matches. It was just, it almost felt like they have determined that you can just kind of go out there and it doesn't really matter as long as you do the 2 or 3 things, in each match. And the rest is just kind of like, just go through and whatever.
So is he talking about Blood and Guts? Because that's what that felt like.
But
too,
I don't know. I know the reaction that I've gotten has been pretty negative on the show. And...
the reaction you got from reading Cage Match, you're a fucking sicko. The reaction you got from a bunch of sickos, bro. So the current reported plans for Rhodes to defend the Undisputed Championship against Roman Reigns at Mania 42. He's just running with this. And even if it is that, here's the thing. I'm just anti-Dave. I don't give a fuck. So even if it is that, word, I'll put it over, because I'm actually not, man, you guys got to understand something. I was saying let Roman hold the title until Mania 45, have him beat all the records. Obviously he's not going to touch Bruno's, but like, I was ready for Cody crybabies every year. Just have Roman beat I don't give a fuck. Keep him going. And he's still going strong. He's in like the best shape of his life too. He's getting bodied up. He's on those Hollywood fucking diet regimens and shit and workout regimens and shit. So, I mean, Roman's looking great, and like he's obviously they're giving him the time off that he needs to do what he needs to do to also in Hollywood and shit and with his family and all so that he can appear and be healthy and fresh for WWE, and it's paying off for them. And like if Roman was champ to this day, I wouldn't even be mad at it. I'm all about the tribal chief. So at the end of the day, man, I don't think it matters as long as they tell a good story. You guys are just discounting, like you're just pretending WrestleMania's this weekend. Like, no, they have tons of time to tell a story between now and then. But speaking of telling stories, man, Dave Meltzer, he's flip-flopping and flying like old Dusty Rhodes there on his story with Shinsuke and Tanahashi. So we've been chronicling this. This is like the Andrade shit. It's like I'm kind of getting tired of talking about this, but we have to because it's the update on the show here. And Dave, man, he's talking about Tanahashi and Shinsuke. Like at first he claimed Shinsuke and Tanahashi both want to do it, but WWE's like, you can't do it. And then he's like, well, it would be a slap in the face to CMLL, like trying to take the heat off AEW. Well, Nuge is actually partnered with CMLL, and it would be a big slap in the face to them, Brian. Not even AEW, really. AEW too, but right? And so he goes, the feeling is WWE wanted Nakamura to do Tanahashi's last match with the idea that it would screw with AEW. So originally it's Tanahashi's idea. Tanahashi and Shinsuke Nakamura both want to do this thing. They're both in. Dave sounding like he's fucking calling them on the phone, like Tony Khan making a fucking house call, right? Like he's making it appear as though he knows this to be true and for a fact that Tanahashi and Shinsuke both want to do this match. And then it's like AEW, it should be Okada. Whatever, it gets announced it's Okada. Then Dave just starts theorizing and making shit up. Oh, well, it's because their partnership with AEW. Oh, it's because it'll hurt their deal with CMLL. Oh, it's because it'll fucking, and then now it's WWE wanted to fuck with AEW. It's always bullshit.
Tanahashi did want to face Nakamura. I guess the idea from the story is that Nakamura had been told, because he wanted this match himself, that he wanted to be a free agent, that he wanted to give notice. And so
oh my God. So now he's just saying that Shinsuke wanted to be a free agent?
There'd be no politics involved. If he was a free agent, it could be Tanahashi Nakamura. And
make me a free agent, and then I'll go to Japan. Like, man, whoa, hold on a second. What is Dave doing? He's just lying about a bunch of shit here. Hold on, dude. Whoa.
Tanahashi did want to face Nakamura.
He did want to face Nakamura.
I guess the idea from the
so that for sure, because Tanahashi-san told Tony Khan-san this, and then Tony Khan-san called you, and then this. So I'll give Dave that. Okay, Tanahashi wanted it. I believe this is Dave, again, just sweeping for tone. He's just making up a bunch of reasons why it wasn't AEW being like, no, please, it's got to be Okada. Please, our wrestlers are on there. But Takeshita's your champion.
Story is that Nakamura had been told, because he wanted this match himself, that he wanted to be a free agent, that he wanted to give notice.
So he was told that he wanted to be a free agent. Dave, are you retarded?
And so there'd be no politics involved. If he was a free agent, it could be Tanahashi Nakamura. And
so if he was a free agent, then it could be. It sounds like to me, Dave, like Tony Khan is the one who said, if he's a free agent, he can't be signed to WWE. If Shinsuke's a free agent and not repping WWE, I'll let you do that. But instead, you're partnered with us, so it's got to be Okada. It sounds like you're just like inventing and adding shit to take heat off of Tony Khan. This doesn't even make sense.
As the story says, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, this one I have not been able to confirm, essentially the WWE would not release Nakamura but they wanted Nakamura. The feeling is WWE wanted Nakamura to do the show with the idea that it would.
The feeling is with the idea that it would
just
be.
in, we have confirmed that
What?
Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
It's always the idea is what the feeling was, Brian.
Screw with AEW.
Yeah, let's screw with AEW. So Dave is making the claim. So before this, he claimed that it would hurt the relationship with CMLL. Dave, it just sounds like you're fucking coping. So first it's well, obviously Okada's the match to make, obviously. And then it's fucking, oh, well, it would hurt their relationship with CMLL. It would be like a slap in the face, was his actual quote to CMLL. And then now it's, well, Nakamura said he wanted to do it and asked to be a free agent. But WWE was like, nah, let's do this and fuck with AEW. Bro, you're coping, and it sounds like a bunch of bullshit, and you're just covering up for the best guy.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard, coping and seething.
But, New Japan at that point went with Okada because they didn't want to. It's a double thing, It's number one, not wanting to screw with AEW, but more working with WWE would be considered bad for New Japan because of both of their longtime partners. AEW is actually a short-time partner, but their longest
shut the fuck up. Oh, it's actually a short-time partner
is CMLL. And CMLL is now in a war with WWE.
They're in a war with WWE
and AAA in Mexico.
Podcast grifters would make you believe that it's stuff. They're in a war. Holy
fuck, with WWE owning AAA. So it's kind of like,
see how he galvanizes. He's the one who perpetrates this bullshit.
WWE to put.
He's the one who perpetrates this bullshit, man. It's crazy.
Guy in the main event of their biggest.
And then he gets triggered when people go, "Well, AAA's smoking CMLL. It's a war." Oh, it's hardly a comparison. You just said that they're going to war, asshole.
Show of the year. That it's kind of like a slap in the face of both AEW and CMLL, and that's not something that they were willing to do.
There are people who believe that the reason that they didn't do the Nakamura match is because Tony said ain't happening. And there's another side that says, no, that actually, he never said that can't happen. That's not why.
You're a liar.
But there are two stories here, and only one can be true. Did Tony put his foot down on it, or did he not? So it'll be interesting to see.
Dave can't ever say, oh, Tone put his foot down, because he's scared that it'll make him look like the bad guy. When realistically, it's like, no, we give you props, bro.
What each side says about this.
It's just Dave fucking making shit up to protect Tone, man. Someone sent me an email. Okay, someone sent me an email like dispelling Dave's stuff here. So let's see what's going on here. See if I can't pull it up. So Fat Factor, okay? You guys know Fat Factor. He wrote me like a fucking essay. Not an essay, but it's like, let's skim through this. Fat Factor Creation. Shout him out. Longtime listener of the show. He goes, hi, Phil. Thought I'd email to debunk some of the complete nonsense from this Chris Griffin sound-alike mouth regarding Tanahashi's last match because it's way too long for super chats. Also, maybe double check this through your own searches to be sure. There might be some translation wreckage in some of my searches. Okay. So he says, Dave fundamentally doesn't know what the hell he's talking about when it comes to Nuge in regards to the much larger Japanese audience, how they perceive it. He recently said that Okada was Tanahashi's greatest opponent and that it was not even debatable. Then completely dismissed Naito and Shinsuke Nakamura because, as per usual, Dave loves to distort the reality of Japanese wrestling and has been able to get away with doing so for 20 plus years. It's true. He controls the narrative of it in the West. He has for a long time. This is the same Dave Meltzer who tries to make out that DDT, Choco Pro, and Ice Ribbon are filling stadiums while Noah is in empty buildings. When Noah's arguably in a stronger place than Nuge, purely by not being poisoned. Sorry, there is some translation stuff here, guys, so I'm trying to purely by note, but you mean purely by not being poisoned by Dave's narratives. Yes, allegedly being in the Booker's ear and Tony Khan's pillaging. So the next point, Tetsuya Naito has been, and thank you for the headers and all this shit rules. Tetsuya Naito has been New Japan's top merch seller since 2016. Himself and Takahashi have been consistently outselling Tanahashi, who sits third, while Okada has never been in the top 5 during that period. At some points, he was even outsold by stablemates Toru Yano and Hiroki Goto. Dave dismisses this because he's convinced himself that Nuja's merch sales inside Japan are non-existent and that sales in the USA account for all of Nuja's merch sales. He also is salty about Naito being outspoken against AEW and WWE's detrimental effect on Nuj and refusing to join AEW. As a result, he's been burying him ever since, and this before Naito started becoming non-committal towards Nuj, because of Gato booking him to lose all the time in order to appease Dave and Tony Khan, despite him still being the biggest merch mover. Naito's also been Tokyo Sports' a major newspaper in Japan, MVP in 2016, 17, 20, and 23. This is essentially Tokyo Sports saying he did better than Shohei Ohtani in 23 and is astronomically holy fuck, that's crazy. And is astronomically far more important than an observer award to anyone who values fresh air and sunlight. He also appears at baseball games, mainly with his team, Hiroshima Toyopet, without anyone having to pay for it. He's invited, unlike AEW at their sports event appearances. Damn, I love when people drop facts about Nuge, and it's like, Dave, you're not fucking studying or learning any of this shit.
Learn, baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
So Dave's getting exposed for fucking lying about Nuge shit this whole time too, and playing this fucking agenda, dude. Oh, you gotta love it. So the second point, there's a strong argument that the last meaningful feud Tanahashi was in was Naito for the IWGP IC title. Ace versus King feud with Nakamura was mainstream news in Japan. Despite Nakamura being the heel in this feud, there was still a lot of Yao sign. Dave also buries Nakamura purely because he's a WWE guy. Yeah, that's what it feels like. So we're skimming through this, brother. Thank you for this whole report, dude. For the last point, it can be seriously argued that Okada isn't even the top 5 opponents of Tanahashi. Tanahashi had better feuds and matches with Naito, Nakamura, Yuji Nagata, Togi Makabe, Keiji Muto / Great Muta, and a few others. It's a fact. Dave knows this, but runs with the narratives that everything pre-Kenny Omega and pre-Bucks was the Dark Ages for Nuge, which is totally false. The three of them, here's the thing. The Bucks and Kenny and them going to Nuge wasn't what made me start getting into Nuge again, in that era as well. It was a buddy of mine had a New Japan, I think a New Japan World. I don't know if that came before Kenny and them, but I was getting sent New Japan shit frequently, links to matches where it's I'm on a Japanese website and I'm watching fucking a match or whatever. And also, I was in a hotel room and it was late night and I saw a fucking ad for New Japan. I don't know what it was at the time. And I remember distinctly Okada in the commercial and a bunch of these characters where I was like, whoa. And then Kenny and the Bucks came in after and it was oh, sweet. These guys, I fucking know Cody Rhodes. I know AJ Styles and shit, that made it, that was awesome too. I'm not discounting any of that, but it was before then they were picking up steam. I know what you mean. It was starting to there was rumblings about some of these characters and how over these guys were getting, right? Before Kenny had his series of matches with Okada, people were talking about Tanahashi and Okada and them yeah, you could compare them to, and not just them, Naito and these guys, yeah, they're the Stone Cold and the Rock and the Triple H of fucking Nuge type thing. Anyways, yeah, so it just amazes me how one Spectrum surfing goof in California has been able to completely distort the perception of Japanese wrestling to his own liking. And again, it's just to protect his SoCal boys, Dave also said a bunch of other nonsense denying AEW blocked Nakamura, but I think it's very obvious Nuge is being manipulated or controlled. Now, I don't even want to go that far. It's just they have a partnership. They obviously signed some shit. There's stuff in place, and it's Tony put his foot down, but Dave just won't admit, Tony put his fucking foot down. And speaking of Tone putting his foot down, we're going to get into AEW cope here, or sweeping, but this whole they're closing the gap narrative, Well, actually, here, Brian actually he's retracting, he's backtracking. Brian is now because like we pieced him up so hard with his faux outrage and even made that video where he's like crying about the haters responding to him and shit. So here's what he has to say about NXT now. He's just loving this.
This is the highlight of the show. Ethan is leaving. He's in his vehicle.
He's just loving NXT.
He goes, Ava, clearly my services aren't needed tonight.
Or unless he's being sarcastic. I actually didn't watch this.
And she says, you haven't defended that North American title since Halloween Havoc. And he goes, well, I'm the best wrestler here. Nobody wants to wrestle me. And she goes, yeah, well, I think there's someone in your car that might disagree. And he goes, and he jumps out of the car. It's Mr. Iguana. And Mr. Iguana steals his car. Okay? He steals his car.
Mr. Iguana rules.
So he steals his car and he zooms off. And Ethan screams, are you not going to call the cops? And Ava, deadpan, says, what am I going to say? A reptile stole your car? And as it fades to black, you just hear Ethan go, yes! And it's over. I loved this.
Dude, now he's loving Ava, dude.
It's just in from Phil Marks of PWT.
Bro, he's just so outraged. Now he's going to put it over.
I told you so.
At least Bry will read. He's trying, Brian. Okay, he's crying, Brian, a lot. He is trying. Like, at least he reads the comments, and he's like, he had a little cope sesh, but maybe he's like, okay, it's not as bad as I make it out to be, But speaking of as bad as people are making it out to be, man, this whole closing the gap situation. Let's listen to Dave compare Blood and Guts to War Games and then the closing the gap and then just like sweeping for AEW. But again, Dave, like, I think this is a narrative people are trying to create here disingenuously. Like, I just don't think you can even really compare you can compare the Blood and Guts to the War Games. I mean, it's 2 rings and 2 cages. They happen in the same month. So obviously you can compare them clearly, but like just what both shows are trying to accomplish, I just think you can't really compare. It's what Punk said. Like, I don't even know what they're trying to do over there.
Both Blood and Guts blew these ones away.
Like, as far as what, Dave? The physical moves. You just want to see shoot fights in cages. Okay. UFC, like what? Like, what was it when the girls botched the table spot? Like, name one spot, the bed of nails, the girls leaving the ring and grabbing 10 title belts and bringing them in the ring, that beat the War Games or that beat out whatever the girls did in their War Game. I'm not saying like War Games was the best show ever. I mean, it was whatever. But it's just like, in what aspect did it blow it out of the water? The ratings? No, the fucking, like, what, in what way? Someone got more over than, think about the eyeballs that were on Lash Legend and that shit. That's all I'm saying. Like,
it's funny because I think the women,
which one was more star-studded?
Talent in WWE's match is more talented overall than in the AEW match. But the AEW, like, those women went out there. They went out there and granted they had the advantage of being able to do blood, but they just throw out the blood even. They went out there and they
yeah, like, I don't
use weapons, in a
clapping
lot.
for blood.
But they went out there. There was a mentality in that AEW match where they were out there to go like, we're gonna, like, I thought that the men's match was still better, but they went out there with the idea that, like, this is the first women's Blood and Guts match, and we're going to tear the house down. And these women just kind of went out there, and it's like we've had many War Games women's matches, over the years in WWF since Paul, took booking control and everything like that, and plus in NXT. And it was just like that mentality
in WWF. What are you, Phil Marks?
It wasn't there at all. It was just kind of like just a match, and I mean, and not even I wouldn't even call it a good match. It was just a match.
I would say that's fair, but like the women's Blood and Guts was fucking really good until like Monet and Marina got in it and shit. That's my opinion. I would say that I don't even know. I really don't. I didn't think much of either of these matches overall. They were just like whatever, kind of just not memorable either of them in my year. For
I would say That's one of the more disappointing matches, really, that I've seen this year.
If like you watch that women's Blood and Guts and you don't see like what Monet did and Shafir did in that match, and that doesn't make you like groan a little bit, even if you're the most diehard AEW fan, I don't know, man. You just like dog shit. Like, I'm sorry. I'll just stand on that and say that is my strong opinion. I think you like shitty shit. I don't know. So they're talking about closing the gap, though, right? And we're comparing these two companies, and people are trying to do that. But to me, starting in January and this whole time now from here on out, it's TNA, NXT, AEW. We got the middle of the week wars. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll be comparing ratings as of January 26th. But, you know, Tony Khan's been out there talking about closing the gap and all this shit. And so let's see here. So someone deleted this post, and then Real Philly P, who's got me blocked, says it was easy to beat Vince back then when there was no monopoly or internet. So coping over WCW, I'm assuming. If the same conditions existed today, AEW would be beating WWE consistently. Bro, that is one of the fucking stupidest things you could ever say.
Stupid idiot.
There's no basis in reality of that to say that, you know? And guess what? They have been beating SmackDown consistently with Max included all year. It's like, you're just lying. You guys just make shit up. Okay? And so even Dave corrects this guy. Even Dave is like, bro, you're a sicko.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
And Dave's like, they aren't beating SmackDown even with Max. Raw Live, if you want to believe Netflix numbers, they are for the full week. Probably no, but what? Raw Live, if you want to believe Netflix numbers. It's so funny how ass backwards Dave is. Like, the Netflix numbers are probably the most accurate. They're more accurate than this Nielsen shit and the invisible fucking numbers that you are inventing that Max does that not even Tony Khan knows. So, like, you're a clown, Dave. This is just such unbelievable, unbridled delusion. But obviously, the Netflix Live numbers are fake low to juice up the full week numbers, explained in the Observer every week. Bro, you don't explain it. You don't even understand it. You don't even understand it. So, no, you don't explain it. You explain it incorrectly. Holy shit. And Nicolo Piccolo says Dave has 307K followers and he spent a year telling them Netflix is faking numbers. There's no legal exposure for that. The exposure is that you look like a guy who doesn't understand how streaming works and panics when the data doesn't match your narrative. That's how you tell every real industry person you're not in the room and you're never getting in the room. Like, he just exposes himself, and this is just a guy, Nick, coming in and just saying it to Dave. Like, you're like, real motherfuckers look at that and scoff at it. If you're a dumb person or you control the wrestling narrative, which Dave has for like decades, where you have wrestlers marking out and simping for him and reading his shit every fucking week for decades, he thinks he can still like get away with shit like this. It's crazy. So he just got G-checked right there. And, you know, Dave starts talking about closing the gap. Let's start with this. And then he talks about like WB. And here's some AEW shit. So Tony Khan has closed the gap on WWE in a very meaningful way. This is going to be absolutely hilarious. Strap in, folks. Flutes in the chat. I mean, we might as well play one more for this epic moment.
Did you see the Tony Khan quotes about how he says that they're closer to WWE?
Oh, they've closed the gap this year?
Technically, in ratings, they've closed the gap because...
Oh, my God.
SmackDown went to USA, so their number went way down, okay? Raw went to Netflix, so their number went way down. You know, NXT on CW, their number didn't go way down. And AEW... Oh, their numbers went way down because of Max.
Because of Max as well.
Well, but they didn't go down as far as the WWE numbers.
So WWE goes down on Netflix because Netflix is lying about the numbers and they're even lower than the low numbers that Netflix have been claiming. It's even lower than that, so they can inflate them later. Meanwhile, Netflix has come out multiple times and said, and Dave's like, I break it down in the Observer every week. Meanwhile, they've had many weeks where Netflix reports that their live was up from the week before, but then their over the week was down. Their minutes streamed was down from the week before and shit. Dave's just flip-flopping here. He doesn't even know what he's talking about, man. And he's showing his ass.
If in the both going down category, the gap is closer, yes. When it comes to
NXT. AEW and NXT are closer, yes.
Ratings. When it comes to attendance, not so much. When it comes to
not so much, not at all.
Shows, who the hell knows?
When it comes to big shows, who the hell knows? Dave, there was 47,000 people or whatever the fuck at their last pay-per-view. There's like 5,000 tickets sold, if that, to AEW's next pay-per-view.
But AEW certainly held up very well on pay-per-view.
No, it didn't hold up
this year. When it comes,
or maybe it did, but no one does pay-per-view anymore. So hold up compared to what? Compared to like when WWE was at its peak, or compared to the pay-per-views WWE does not do anymore. Oh yeah, they held up against like what's on pay-per-view now? Korn and fucking AEW. You know, like what the fuck's on pay-per-view anymore?
Other metrics.
UFC was. Now they're moving away from that shit too, because it's,
I mean,
fucking people don't want to. It's just passe. Pay-per-view is like it's not even dead. I think if everybody brought it back, if everyone was like, no, we're going back to pay-per-view, I think it would work, but they would have to get off all these streamers and shit. You'd have to just give me one place to watch the show, and then fucking I'll buy your pay-per-view every other month. Not every month, though, or like every few months. You can't have pay-per-views every fucking month.
I've seen they kind of look the same as last year, and for the most part, live event, live events. AEW. I mean, I will say that when AEW is not in a small building,
when they're not in a small building,
a little bit up. They had like 3,300 this week. They had over 3,000 last week. Those are not great numbers, but they're better than when they were doing, 2000s.
Yes, which is like a year ago. And then the year before that, they were doing like 4,000s. And people come on my show and clown me. Why is that a good fucking attendance number? When I would be like, oh, good for AEW. They did 4,500. Now their pay-per-views are doing 4,500. How is this even a debate in your brain?
In similar buildings. So there's a little bit of an uptick. WWE is a little down. They were,
SmackDown's a little down. It's WWE's, all their shows are fucking bang.
They were always selling out.
Dave said the peak is over.
And now they're not selling out as often, but they're still like so far ahead. It's not even funny. Like they just drew 45,000 people. They just did 45,000 people on Saturday. So it's not like,
that's light years ahead of AEW. I just don't know why you can't just go, yeah, I mean, they're light years ahead. That's like a 1 second answer to this question.
There's a big difference in popularity.
100%. So then how are they? Oh, they're
they're
closing the gap. Like, yeah, okay. But like, wait, here's the problem with that. No, they're not, because it's just factoring in I'm not even going to give them that. I was going to be like Optima. I was going to like fence sit a bit there and be like, okay, Dave, I guess like technically, if we're talking about, like he said, technically, I mean, it's like, okay, technically is last week, did AEW have on the Thanksgiving show, did they have like a 5% increase? But it's 500,000 people. Okay, it's 500,000, not counting streaming. How many? That's nothing. That's invisible. And if we're not counting, or if you want to play that game, it's like they're doing 400,000, 500,000 for Dynamite. Like if 2 years ago they were doing like not even double that, but it was like 700,000. Like they're just falling off year over year. We can't make these comparisons. We can't talk about closing the gap. Figure out your own show, make one fucking star, then talk about closing the gap. Okay, I'm not even going to give Dave the benefit on that one. I just stopped myself. So WBD, how will the sale affect AEW? Let's hear fucking Dusty Dave, who just doesn't know shit. Let's hear what he has to make up about this shit.
What's the update on the WBD sale?
It could be going down within the next couple of weeks. and Netflix and Paramount are the front runners. I believe Netflix has no interest in the cable side. For WBD, I think that there's the hope that it's Paramount, because Paramount is interested in keeping, the cable stations. Netflix does not want to own.
Is that here's the thing. I will say that, Dave's reading shit that like Variety and all these shits have tweeted out over the last few weeks. So he's not saying anything new here. But I will say, like, I'm just going to put a little Phil Marks spin on this, on Dusty Dave's ass. I think, Dave, you're just coping and you want it to be Paramount because they're interested in the cable shit, and you don't want Netflix to throw AEW away because it's not popular enough on streaming for them to warrant them putting it anywhere. No, if Netflix bought all this shit, it's not like they'd just be like, AEW, you're done. But maybe, though, like, maybe WWE, we don't know, man. If they're going to force Andrew Schultz on our Raw programming, I wouldn't put it past them to be like, yeah, AEW, you're gone. We just don't want you on anything now. WWE, make a new show for Max or whatever.
The cable stations, from what I hear, they just want they want the Warner Brothers movie library and HBO and HBO Max. How this would relate, how any of this relates to AEW, is all speculation. There's no way of knowing until the new people in charge are running it. There's
this is the problem with Dave too. It's all speculation. No. Nicolo Piccolo laid out an amazing thread. Dave, of course, fears facts and wouldn't read it. And none of it has to do with AEW. No, but it does, because, for instance, Rush Hour 4 got greenlit by Paramount because Donald Trump, they weren't going to greenlight it. And then apparently Donald Trump called and was like, make this movie. And now they're making that movie. And I'm sorry, but if Paramount has the relationships that Nicolo Piccolo laid out, I'm not even making it a political thing, but just the way the media is leaning now and whatnot, it's more balanced. Some people they're going too far, whatever your take is on that aside, just who Paramount and these people are in bed with. And I don't want to say in bed like it's a dirty thing, but it's business, yes, that does determine, like, okay, we might not want this AEW thing around. We're in business with WWE and TKO and UFC and all this shit. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want this thing around, and it pertains to them because WBD, according to Thirsty Thurston, owns, his estimation is like 5% of AEW. I think is what he said, 5%. So they would own 5% of AEW, would they not? Isn't it acquiring the whole thing, right? So at least that's my understanding of it. If WBD owns 5% of AEW and then Paramount buys WBD, then Paramount then owns 5% of AEW. Mais non? Mais oui? Right?
Some people who go like,
so I think it does have a lot to do with AEW, and this is Dave responding to Nicolo Piccolo without like responding to him because he knows he'll get pwned.
Paramount gets it. They have UFC, so they're going to cancel it for sure. Well, it's like, if they're going to keep TBS and TNT,
Dave, oh my God, TBS and TNT are the A side to AEW. Like, what? This is the problem with Dave and all the sickos. They don't understand. AEW's not the A side anywhere, and they're not like sought at. Like they don't. If Paramount bought WBD and then tomorrow they're like, we want a WWE show to go on Wednesdays and shit, they could just make that happen. WWE's more popular. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just going to do what makes sense for business. And AEW, if they're going to keep TBS and TNT, you mean these things that like everybody knows, even in like Canada, if you say, yeah, it's on TNT or TBS, everybody knows TBS and shit. So AEW is not the A side there. Like, if they're going to keep TBS and TNT, of course they will. AEW's like a fucking yo-yo tournament. It's just like a show that they put on, right? Like, shows get canceled all the time. It's crazy.
I don't know about dropping.
No one's shilling out billions of dollars. Here's the problem. So people are shilling out millions and billions and shit to WWE. No one's shilling that out to AEW other than this company that's in so much fucking debt and is so fucked up and is such a mess, laughing stock of Hollywood, that it's going to get bought and absorbed. And it's everything they fucking own is going to get bought and absorbed. Everything. Bugs Bunny, Batman, all that shit. And AEW comes along with it. As just like this is just a thing that comes along with it. It's not like they're like, oh, the fucking AEW, man, that's a huge part of this thing. Whereas UFC and WWE are like these huge things that are sought after, that people are going out of their way to spend. Like, you know what I mean? It's just he has no perception of this shit.
Popular programming on those stations, because TKO has a show on the station. That's not going to mean that somebody else can't have a show with another product. ESPN had UFC's deal, and they had the PFL at the same time. Then that's the same business.
Word. And I think they would keep, I don't think they just like, we're getting rid of AEW out the window. But I know people smarter than me who know way more about the TV biz than I, who I've spoken to. And they fucking are like, yeah, that will happen, you know? So I don't fucking know. But I maintain, like, I don't think they'll just chuck it away. They'll just, like, stick it on. Yeah, sure, you're just, like, on streaming. We'll put some other show that makes us more money and on Wednesdays or whatever.
Not a different business. So the idea, I mean, it you know, I could be wrong. You know, you never know what's going to happen. But I don't see the fact, if Paramount buys it, I don't see the UFC being on the Paramount streaming service having any influence on the idea of AEW on TBS and TNT. You know, if it's Netflix and they don't keep the station, but they keep HBO Max, if they keep HBO Max as a separate property, you know, just because WWE is on Netflix and HBO Max is a separate property, would they get rid of AEW?
Doubtful, but they don't. Here's the problem, Dave. In Crave in Canada, for instance, they don't have AEW. They just added Collision recently, and only Collision, and you have to have like the sports add-on to access it or whatever the fuck. It's already, they don't care about it. Like this, these new people are gonna buy the shit, and what do? They review. They just go over everything. And what's making us money, what makes sense, what could be better. And they're going to reinvent, they're going to reinvigorate, they're going to innovate, they're going to figure out whatever the fuck. If Netflix keeps TNT and TBS around, whatever. But I just wouldn't like be so, oh, it's not going to matter. It's like, dude, they have WWE shit on Crave in like Canada and shit, which is HBO Max up here. You know what I mean? They just added, and they're promoting Crave right now. We added tons of shit to this Crave. I think they're trying to like boost up the value of some of this shit last minute, or maybe that's a dumb take. I don't know. But they just added all this shit to Crave, like just piled on. We added like 18,000 fucking new hours of programming and stuff. Like they're promoting Crave heavy right now in Canada, and Collision only is on there. No Dynamite, no AEW pay-per-views. And they have they have like 4 different WWE shows on there, and Dark Side of the Ring and all this shit that people actually watch. So he just doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But he talks about Okada's drop kick here, and Dave Meltzer he talks about Okada's drop kick on Pac. And again, this is just like a 10,000-year-old talking point. There is nobody that I've ever seen in my entire life that times their drop kicks for the perfect time to do them better than Okada. What kind of sentence is that? There is nobody that I've ever seen in my entire life that times their drop kicks for the perfect time to do them better than Okada. And he didn't even say better. It's in brackets, meaning he didn't actually say that. They had to add that in while quoting him. Do them, Okada. That's what he said. You know they're coming, but they still come out of nowhere. That is fucking stupid. You're dumb. And I don't know. That's just an old thing to say. Yeah. And so Tryon Bryan had this to say. He talks to Vinny about how Blood and Guts was better than the War Games match. I mean, I don't even know if we need to listen to this. We already heard.
That's what I saw on the old X there. Yeah.
I think we might already watch this on PWT Live with AEW News, but he's just like this cocky little smirk. I hear Blood and Guts is trending.
I hear that Blood and Guts is trending.
That's what I saw on the.
Yeah, because bro, for once in their life, AEW's trending. Good for them. Don't do the whole cocky smirk and this whole, see, yeah, I mean, War Games was just trash. It's just like, shut the fuck up. We played this clip already. And so I wanted to end things with something funny here. Here's Dave Meltzer's reaction to Bret Hart claiming that Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon are gay.
Emotional damage.
And so, yeah, let's listen to Dave's take on
Bret
it.
did a thing where he said he's figured it out, that he thinks that Vince and Shawn Michaels.
He said he's figured out that he thinks. Bret did a thing. Dave always has his info wrong. No, Bret said this like years ago, and I think people laughed it off like, oh, yeah, gay joke. Yeah. Yeah, they're gay. But then it's whatever. He's an old man, right? Like these fucking boomers don't. They so whatever. He's just fucking it's like Goldberg. That's a fruity boy, right? We made fun of it here on the show a bunch of times. But no, Bret's like, no, dude, I swear they were like, they were blowing each other. They were like blowing each other in that,
We're lovers, and that's why things happened the way they did. And, that's led a lot of people to a lot of talk. Jim Ross said it was bullshit, but he also said that he thought Bret was just trolling and just trying to go for attention. And I can tell you this, when Bret does stuff, he's not looking for attention. He just speaks his mind. And I think that there's reasons that he just says what comes to his head. Now, do I believe this? If I had $1 for every time I was told that somebody got a push based on having sex with a promoter, both men and women, I'd have a lot of money.
Dave just stooging the business. He's like, everyone's gay. Everyone's banging their bosses to get in. You have to blow people to
Sometimes
fucking
in
get
life, you gotta be a hoe.
Oh, man. Just putting shit on blast.
Because
I'd have a lot of money, and I don't right now. 50% off Wrestling Observer, Brian.
Wrestling people will
all year-long sale. New subscribers only. Old subscribers, fuck you guys. Full price. In fact, it's $2 more starting next month.
Reach that conclusion whether there's something to it or not. But the thing that I would say for sure is that Bret Hart is not doing this to troll. He's not one of these goofs. And there's many.
Bro, it's crazy because he said this before. Like, Dave, you don't study and learn. Not that I care. Like, I don't care. Like, not everybody can know every single fucking thing about everything in the world. Like, not everybody can fucking, you see a tweet go up, you react to it. Another tweet goes up 4 hours fucking later. And then and then it's like, well, my old tweet doesn't even make sense now because this new information. Baby, but he's just wrong about everything. Like, he doesn't know about shit. He just speculates on everything. And he's like, he's not saying this to troll. Yeah, we know. He said this like, how long ago? Didn't he say this like a decade ago? He said it before troll was even like common vernacular. No, I'm sure 10 years ago people were trolling. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, Bret said this more than once, like a long time ago. So this time, yeah, it's not a troll, but he really believes it.
From the past, we're just looking to say anything.
It's like common sense, Dave. Like, he's saying it, but it wasn't a troll, but he's not bringing up like, well, he said this a bunch of times in the past. He believes it.
Thing, just to get attention, get people to respond. I mean, he's told me himself that he tries not to.
He calls me on the phone like Tony
say stuff about WWE because he gets a lot of heat when he does, number one. And number two, he doesn't want any residual heat on Natty. That was like the big thing that he said. Look, Shawn's a super talented guy. He was going to get pushed because he's a super talented guy.
Yeah, well, Dave being fair and balanced, but Natty getting ready for that super push right now. Shooter Natty. But Dave, overall, you got to quit flip-flopping, bruv. That's the key thing from this episode tonight. You just be flip-flopping around on so much shit, bringing up different key demos now after everybody tried to tell you, like, well, man, they kind of use this demo, but, like, it doesn't even matter. We'll play your game. And then now he's, like, not talking about the 18 to fucking, now he's got the 25 to it. Like, you're flip-flopping. You're a fucking clown. And because of that, we will forever clown you. We will forever play flutes because that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
Guys, support PWT, patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. There's a link down below, patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. That's how you support. I'm really pushing that hard, and there's lots of content and tons more coming. Tomorrow, Phil Marks Out channel, I am doing a Stranger Things season 5, Stranger Things 5, episodes 1 through 4, review / just talking to Stranger Things, you know? And that'll be during the day. And don't forget, Sicko Saturday, PWT live show. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the Upside Down.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a US
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and they
Dave?
can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
Okay,
we
hold
know
on.
they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I
numbers for an
continue
afternoon.
this before you cut me off? We
Yeah,
know
go ahead.
one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.